Libya. Ba-dum, ba-dum, ba-dum. You'll get me Smarties. I'll know more jeans again.
What are they?
Duluth. All right, ladies and gentlemen, let's roll. He's doing pretty good. I saw him this weekend. He was at both baseball games with Carson's state championship game and $121 and $21 and $21 here, 20 and 21, 21, 21. Going to be $121. Going to be $121 pound. Going to be 2.5. Going to be 102.5 and 2.5 here. Going to be 5, 7.5. Going to be 110, 12.5, 12, 15 and 17.5, 17.5, 17, 50 and down 20 here. Going to be 120. Going to be 20 here. Going to be 18. Going to be 19 and 20 here. Going to be 121 and 21 here. Going to be $21 here. Going to be $21 here. Going to be 20 and 1 here. D 120 on 2.
They're going to send these two cows to that bull and try to bring him back. So we won't have to sort here. So are you ready? These cows are going to come back with that bull, so you're going to need to wait on the bull. So 0.
Nope. Okay, I am now.
Okay, we're going to send these cows out with that bull, see if that bull will come back in with this side. I guess. Yep. Sell the bull, 75 cents a pound. 80 and 75, 85, 85 and 90, 95, 95, 95 dollar bill, gonna be 105, gonna be 105, gonna be 10, gonna be 110, 15, gonna be 15, 20, and 125, 125, 30, gonna be 30, gonna get 35, and 35 here, 40, 140, 140, 145, and 45 there, gonna be 145, gonna be 145, 2.5, and 42 and a half, gonna be 2 and a half, gonna get 2 and a half, gonna be 2 and a half, gonna be 2 and a half here, D, 140 bull X. 75 and 75 here, 75 here, 77 hand, 75, 77 hand, 77 hand, 77 50 and 77 hand, gonna be 80 cents a hand, gonna be 80, gonna be 82 and a hand, gonna be 2 and a hand, gonna be 250, 82 dollar a half here, gonna be 85, 85, 87 a hand, gonna be 87 and a half here, gonna be 7 and a half here, gonna be 87.50 and now 90 and 90 there, gonna be 90, 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 gonna be 90 here, Chris, 87 and a half, 14. 85, 85 out of 5 here, going to be 85, 85, 87 a hand, going to be 87 of 5, get 90, get 2 and a hand, 95, and 95, 97 a hand, dollar bill, going to be $1, 2 and a hand, 5, and 105, 7 a hand, 7 and 10, going to be 110, 12 and a hand, going to be 10, 12 and a hand, 15, 7, 8 and a half, 20, and 22 and a half, 121, and $21 here, 21, 21, 2, 122, 121, 2, 3, and 24, and 124, going to be 123, going to get 4, going to be 5, and 125, 6, here's 125, 6, 7, and 27, going to be 6, 7 here, going to be 7, going to get 7 here, Chris, 126. 3X. 85, 85 out of 5 here, group 85, 85, 87, group 87, group 85, 87, 50, 80, 87, 92, 95, 95, 97, 97 dollar, a dollar pay, group 1 dollar, group 2 and a half, group 2 and a half, group 105, 87 and a half, 10, 110, 12 and 10, 12 and 15 dollar now, 17 and a half, 20, and 120, group 120, group 128, 9, 130, 120, and 120, 120, 120, 120 over here, 121, 122, 123, 124, 125, 126, 127. 128, now 9, now 30, now 1, 2, 3, 4, 34, 5, and 36, 135, going to be 6, 7, going to be 130, hey, going to be 138, and 37, going to be 38 here, Chris, 137, 3X. These cows are bred, they're 7 years old, they're 4 months. 121 and 21, 2021 here, 121, 23 and 25, 3, 25, 25, 27, 27, 25, 25, 31, 31, 31, 31, 3 and 33, 35, 35, going to be 7, 37, going to be 35, going to be 7 and 35, 37, 35, going to be $7, 7 here, gray, 135, 16. Those two cows have gold in their teeth or something, huh? They have gold teeth. Missed something there. All gold in their guts. 121 and 21, 20, 20 here, now 21, 21, 21, 21 here, going to be 121 and 21 here, 21, 21, 21, 21, 21, 21, 21, 122 and 22, 123, going to be 23, going to be 3, 4 and 24 here, 24, 24, 24, 5 and have 5, going to get 5, going to get 600, 125, going to be 6 here, 125, going to be 60, 125, 2. Young and they look bred. 1, 2 years old. They're 2 and 3 months bred. $1,000. Let you bid. 10, 11, 10, 11, and 10, 11, 11, 11, 11, 1,200, to get 13, 14, 15, and 1,500, and 14, to get 15, 14, to get 15, going to be 14, 15, 1,600, and 1,600, there is 1,700, 18, 18, 19, bit of a 19, bit of a 19, going to be 18, going to be 19, going to be 18, 19, and 1,900, 18, 19, bit of a 19, bit of 19, Chris, 1,800 on 3. Yes, sir. 121 and 21, 21 here, 121, 23, 121, 3, 21, 3, 21, now 3, 21, 23, and 25, 3, 123, 5, and 25, 27, 27, 27, 25, going to be 7, 6, 7, and 27, going to be 27, going to be 27, $8, and 27, 28, 28, 28, 28, 28, 28, JR, 127, JR, 1, JR. Dollar bill, 2.5. $1, 2.5. Gonna be 2.5. Gonna be 2.5. Gonna get 2.5. Bit of a half here. Gonna be 102.5. 5 and 7.5. Gonna be 110. 12.5. 15. 17.5. 20. 120. 120. 18. $18. 18. Gonna be 17. Gonna be 18. Gonna be 17. Gonna be 18. 17. Gonna be 18. 17. Gonna be 18. Here, Booker, 117.
Okay. Okay. I will see what I can do.
$10, 110, 10, 11, 10, 11, 11, 10, 11, 10, 11, 10, 11, 10, 11, 2, 110, 11, and 10, 11 by 10, 11, 10, 11, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, and 15, going to be 17, going to be 19, going to be 119, 20, 120, 121, and 20, and 21, 21, 21, 22, 22, 21, 23, and 23, 4, 125, 125, 6, 125, 6, 7, and 27, going to be 20, heavy to get 30, and 2, and 34, 36, 34, 36, so 134, Chris, 3X. Can I market cheaper, Coy?
Pretty nice cow.
Nice cows, guys. Are 5-year-olds or 7 months, all of them? I don't know. Jim Berry.
75 cows, there you go.
What's that one in the middle? She's 5 by 7. Okay, good set of cows, guys. 5-year-olds, 7 months bred, 1,500. 15 and a half. 15 and a half here. Have a half here. Going to be 16. Have 17. Have 18. Have 19. Half and 1950 and 19 and a half here. Have a half here. Now 2 and 2,000 and 2,000. Going to be 3 and 2,000. 2,100 and 21. Now 2. 21, 2,200 and 21 and a half and 21 and a half. Derek out. 21 and a half. 2150 and 21 and a half. Going to be 21 and a half. 21 and a half. Down. Burning, you're at 21 and a half. 21 and a half. 2150 and 21 and a half here. So 2,100. Put them on D. On number 10, 2,100. D10. 75 and 75 and 75 here, 75 here, 75, $75 here now, 80, 85 here, good 99 here, 90, 87 and 90, we get 92 and a half, 95 and 95, 95, 95, 95, 95, 97 and $97, a dollar be a 2 and a half, we get 2 and a half, good be 105, we get 5, 7 and a half, 7 and a half, 750 and 7 and a half here, good be 7 and a half, now 10 and 110, bit of 10, 12 of a good be 10 and 12 of a good be 10, we get 12 of a good be 10, we get 12 of Chris, 110, 13.
Must mean something's coming.
$1.50. 155 and 55 and 55 and 55, 55, 55, 60, 165, 165, 170, 170, 175 and 75 here, 75, 80, 180, 180, 185 and now 85 and 90, going to be 85, going to be 90, going to be 85, going to be 85, going to be 90 here, JR, 185, 5. $110, 110, 110 and 12 of them, going to be 110 and 12 of them, going to be 10 and 12 of them, going to be 10 and 12 of them, going to be 10, 12 of them, 10, 12 of them, 10, 12 of them, 10, 12 of them, going to be 10, 12 of them, 15 and 17 and a half, 20 there, going to be 120, 20 and 120, going to be 20 there, going to be 20, going to get 20, going to be 20, going to be 20, now 2 and a half, 125 and 25, 25, 7 and a half, 7 and a half, 30, going to get 30, going to be 30, 30 and 7 and a half, going to be 30, going to get 30, going to be 30, going to get 30, going to be 30 here, Booker, 127.50. Did you ever lose? What's that noise?
I turned it off. It's fine.
Well, turn it down.
I don't want to make her mad.
110. 110, 110, 10, 12 of them, going to be 10, 12 of them, going to be 10, 12 of them, going to be 110, 12 of them, 15, 17, 20, 122, 25, 27, 27, jigger, 730, and now 30, going to be 32, 32, 32, 32, down 2, and 32, going to be 32, 5, and 35, 35, 35, 35, 2, 5 here, 33, 34 here, 34, 5, and 35, going to get 6, 35, 6, 7, and 37, going to get 37, going to get 37, going to get 36, 7 here, going to be 7 by 7 here, going to be 7 here, Cabinets, 136, boo. Renegade steer, $1 a pound. 50 cents a pound, 60, 70, 80, 90, 90 cents a pound, 90 cents a pound, 92 and a half. 95, 7.5. So 95, Cavadis. Want him on steer. Hi, Tyler. I never did come get that hay. Forgot about it. $75 and $75.80 and $75 going to be 80 cents a pound. $75 going to be 80, $75 going to be 80 now. $5 going to be 85, 85, 85, 85, 85 and 90. Even get 90, even get 90. Going to be 85 and 90, 85 and 90. Going to be 85 and 90. You get 90 here, 90 here. Going to be 85. Even get 90 here. Chris 85, 14. Well, Derek Moore's bidding online. I know Brian Moore's up there. I know my Moores. 125 and 125 and 25, 25, 27 and a half, 7 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 and a half, going to be 32 and a half, 35 and 35, going to get 7 and a half, 40, 140, 2 and a half, 42, 5 and 45, 45, 45 and 7 and a half and 47 and a half, 50, going to get 50, going to get 50 and a half, 52 and a half, going to be 2 and a half, going to be 2 and a half, going to get 5 and 55 here, 55, 57 and a half, 57 and a half, 57 and a half, going to be 60 and now 60 there, going to be 160 now 2 and a half and 2 and a half, 5 and 65 and 65, 65, 65, 65, going to get 5 and 5 here, going to be 165 here, given Bull 162 and a half. Don't yell at the messenger. $155 and 55 and 55 now 55, 57 and 57 going to be 60 now 60 2 and a half going to be 2 and a half going to be 2 and a half going to get 5 and now 5 here 67 and a half 7 and a half 7 and a half 7 and a half 70 172 and a half 172 and a half 72.50 and 70 down 2 and a half 72 and a half 72 and a half here Gibbon Bull 170. $2.50, $2 and a half, $1 going to be 2 and a half, going to get 2 and a half, going to be 2 and a half, going to be 2 and a half, 105 here, 105, going to get 5, going to get 5, going to get 5 here, going to be 105, $1.05 a pound, 7 and a half, 7 and a half, 7 and a half, 7 and a half here, going to be 7 and a half, going to be 110, and 110, going to be 10, going to be 10, going to get 10, 12 and a half, going to be 10 and 12 and a half, going to be 10 and 12 and a half, going to be 110, 12 and a half, Gibbon, 110, Gibbon. Steer, 110, 110, 15, 20, and 25, 125, and 25, you get 5 and 30, you get 35 here, 35 here, 35 and 40, 140, 140, 140, and you get 40, and 45, and 40, and 5 and 50, you get 50, you get 55, 55, 55, 55, 55, 55, 55, 55, 55 here, going to be 155, 155 here, so 150 Gibbon. Boo. $10, you 10, 12 of them, bit of a 10, 12 of them, going to be 10, 12 of them, going to be 110, going to get 12 of them, going to be 10, going to get 12 of them, but 10, 110, 110, 110, and $110, and 2 and a half, going to get 2 and a half, going to be 2 and a half, 5, 105, 107, 50, 10, going to be 110, going to get 10, and now 10 to buy 10 here, going to be 110, bit of a 10, going to be 10, bit of a 10, going to be 10, 12 and a half, and 10, 12 of them, going to be 10, 12 of them, going to be 10 and 12 of them, going to be 10 and 12 of them here, Booker, 110, Booker straight.
Let's say
10?
Yeah.
All right, 10.
Yeah.
15.
I got it.
15, 20, 25, and 25, we get 30, and now 30, 35 here, 35 and 40, we get 40, we get 40, we get 40, 35, 40, and 35, 40, and 35 and 40, we get 40, 35 and 40, we get 40, we get 40, we get 40 here, Chris, 35 on 12, 35, Chris, 12.
She looks high. Who's this? You get the call.
Better leave a message, 110. 110, 10, 12 of them, going to be 10 and 12 of them, going to be 10, 12 of them, going to be 10, 12 of them, 10, 12 of them, 10, 12 of them, going to be 112 of them, 12 of them, 12 of them, 15, and 15, and 112 of them, going to be 150, we get 15, we get 15, 12 of them, going to be 115, going to be 12 of them, 15, 17 and a half, and 17 and a half, 17 and a half, 17 and a half, 17 and a half here, so 115 D2. 10 by 3. 85. 85, 85 and 90, 85 and 90 here, 90 here, 85 and 90, 95, 95, 95, 95 dollar here, $1, $1, 2 to have, gonna be 5, 105, 107, 50, and then 10, and 110, gonna be 110, gonna be 110, gonna be 110, 12 to have, 12 to have, 15, and 17 to have, 20, and 120, gonna be 122 and a half, 125, and 25 here, 25, 25, 25, 25, 25, gonna be 125, to get 5 here, cabinets, 122 and a half. $5 old. She's 4 months bred. 1,500. 15 and a half. 15 and a half here. Half. And 15 and a half here. Going to be 16. Half here. Going to be 17. Going to be half here. Going to be 17. 18. 18 and a half. Going to be 18. 50. 19 and a half here. 19 and a half. Going to be 2,000 and a half here. Going to be 20. 50. And 20 and a half. Going to be 20. 50 and a half here. Going to be 20 and a half here. Sold her 2,000. Harper on Harper. $85 and 90, 85 and 90, going to be 85, going to be 85, 95, 95, 95, $95 bill, going to be $1, 2 and a half, going to be 2 and a half, going to be 2 and a half, going to be 105, going to be 5, going to be 7 and a half, 7 and a half, 7 and 10, and 110, going to be 10, 12, going to be 10, 11 and 12, 11, 12, 11, going to be 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 112 here, so 111 S4X. Thank you. 8-year-old. She's 3 months. 95, and 95, and 95 here, 95 here, 95, 95, 97 and a half, 97 dollar bill, 102 and a half, 105, 7 and a half, 10, 12, 10, 12 and a half, 15, and 15 dollars, 12 and a half, going to be 115, 12 and a half, going to be 115, 12 and a half, 15, 17 and a half, and 17 and a half, 20, and 120, going to be 20, bit of 20, going to be 20, bit of 20 now, 20 here, Gray, 17 and a half on number 16. $95 and 95 here, 95 here, 95, 95, 95, 95, 95, 97 of hand, 97 of hand, 97 of hand, 97 of $1. $1 here, going to be 2 and a half, going to be 2 and a half, going to be 105, going to be 5 and a half, 7 of hand, 7 of hand, 7 of hand, 750, 10, and 110, bit of 10, 12 of hand, going to be 110, 12 of hand, going to be 15, and 15, 17 and a half, 17 and a half, 20, going to be 120, bit of 20, bit of 20, and 17 and a half, going to be 20, bit of 20, going to be 22 and a half, 122 and a half here, JR, 125. $2 and a half, $2 and a half, going to be 2 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 and a half, outside, going to be 2 and a half, and 2 and a half, 5, going to be 5, 7 and a half, 7 and 10, going to be 110, 12 and a half, 15, now 17 and a half, 20, and 120, going to be 120, going to be 122 and a half, and 22 and a half, going to be 20, going to get 2 and 5, and 25, 7 and a half, 7 and a half, 7 and a half, 7 and a half, going to be 27.50, and 20, going to get 7 and a half, going to be 20, going to get 7 and a half, JR, 125, 5.
We see this cow, they don't know how old she is.
Okay. I don't know either.
And Doc don't want to buy her back, so
Okay.
sell her.
Okay, these cows young. They sure are. 2s and 3s. $1.50. 155 and 55 and 59, 55, 55, 55, 55, 55, 55, 55, 55, 55, 55, 55, 55, 60, 165 and 70, 175, 75, 75 here, 75 here, 80, and now going to be 75, going to be 80, 75, going to be 80, 75, 80, and 75, going to be 80, bit of 80 now, 75, going to be 180 here, JR, 175, 5. 110, and 10, 12 and a half, and 10, 12 and a half, bit of a 10, 12 and a half, 10, 12 and a half, 15, 17, going to be 122, 22, 21, and 20 here, now 21, 21, 20, now 2, 21, 2, 3, and 22, 3, and 22, 3, going to be 2, 3, going to be 22, 3, going to be 23, going to be 2, 3, going to be 3, 4, and 25, and 26, 125, going to be 60, 25, going to be 60, 25, going to be 126, D, 125, 2. Twos and threes. Twos and threes, yeah, it's right there, here, 130, 135, and 35, 35, 40, 40, 45, 45, 50, 55, 55, 55, 55, 60, 165, 70, 170, 170, 65, 70, and 65, 70, 170, 170, 170, 170, 170, 170, 170, 175, 175, 175, 175, 75, and 75 here, 75 here, 80, and now 80, 180, 180, 175, go to 80 here, Coy, 175, put him on Jason, 11.
Okay. Yeah, I think so. I'll make sure.
110, 110, 11, 10, 11, 11, 10, 11, 11, 11, outside, 11, 11, 12, 11, 12, 13, 13, 13, 14, 15, 15, 16, and 17, 17, going to be 18, 18, going to be 119, going to be 119, going to be 121, and 20, 2, 21, 2, 3, 23, 23, 24 here, 24, 5, and 25 here, 126 here, 125, going to be 6, 7, and 27, going to be 26, 7, and 6, 7 here, 7, 7, 7, 7 here, going to be 7 by 7 here, going to be 7 by 7 here, going to be 7 here, so 126, S4. Daughter 2.5, you daughter 2.5, to get 2.5, going to be 2.5, to get 2.5, going to be 102.5 here, 102.5, 102.5, 5, and 5, to get 7, going to be 110, 12, 10, 12, 15, 7, 8.5, 20, and 20, to get 2.5, 125, 127, 50, 30, and 30, 30, to get 30, going to be 30, to get 30, going to be 30, to get 30, going to 30, going to be 30 here, going to be 30, JR, 127.5, 1. 127. 127.50. JR 1. 75, 75 here now, 75, 75, 75, 77, 77, 77 half, and 77, 50 now, 80, you're going to be 82 and a half, 85, 85, 87 and a half, 80, even get 7 and a half, even get 90, and 90, even get 2 and a 5, 95, 95, 95, 7 and a half, 97, $1, $1, 2 and a half, you're going to be 2 and a half, 5, and 105, 7 and a half, 7 and a half, 7 and a half, 7 and 10, you're going to be 110, bit of a 10, 12 and a half, going to be 10, 12 and a half, going to be 10, 11, and 10, 11, and 10, 11, 11, 11, 11, 11, going to be 10, 11, going to get 10, 11, 12, 11, going to be 12, 13, going to get 13, going to get 13, 14, going to be 115, going to be 115, Chris, 114, 13. Three by three. And a 5-year-old, she's 4 months. 3 and 5-year-old, 3 to 5 months, 3 and 4 months. 1100, now 12, 11, 12, 11, going to be 1200, 11, going to be 12, 13, to get 13, 12, 13, 14, to get 14, to get 15, 16, and 16, 1700, 1800, and 17 and a half, 18, 18, bit of 18, going to be 18 and a half, 18 and a half, going to be 19, bit of 19 and a half, 19 and a half, 2000, going to be 21, and 21, 2, 21, 2, 21, 2, 2200, and 21, going to be 200, going to be 21, bit of 2, going to be 21, going to be 200, 21, going to be 2, Chris, 2100, 3. $110, and 10, 12, and 10, 12, 15, 17 and a half, going to be 122 and a half, 125, 7 and a half, 30, 30, 30, and 7 and a half, going to be 30, going to get 30, going to be 30, going to get 30, going to be 30, going to get 30, 8 and 9, and 30, and 33, going to be 30, 1, 31, 31, 2, 32, 31, 2, 31, going to be 2, bit of 2, going to be 2, 31, going to be 2, bit of 2 here, Booker, 131, Booker, nothing. Here's Chris Stewart's cows up here in Tennessee. You know him, Antone? Chris Stewart? Oh, yeah. That's the reason his calves always top of the market. 121 and 21, 21 here, 21, 21, who go on, $21 and 21 here, 1 here, 21, 15, 16 and 15, 16 here, 15, 16 here, 15, 16 and 16 here, 16, you get 16, gonna be 16, gonna be 17 and 17, 18, 18, 18, 19, 19, bit of a 19, gonna be half, 19, 19, half, 19 and a half, and 19 and a half here, 19 and a half, pretty early in the day to use it. 19 and a half, 1950, now 20, 120, now half, 21, $21 and 21 and a half, and 22, and 22, gonna be 2, and 2, and 2, gonna be 2, gonna be 2, Thor, yeah, 22, 22, 22, and 22, gonna be 2, gonna be 2, yes sir, gonna be 122, gonna be 122, gonna be 20, now 2, gonna be 22, gonna be 2, gray, 121 and a half, 10. 5 and 6 years old. They're 7 months bred. Gentlemen, here's a little set of cows I kind of like right there. You're going to be $1,000. 10, 1100, and 10, 11, and 10, 11, 10, 11, 11, 10, 11, 12, 11, 12, 113, 13, 13, 13, 14, 14, 15, and 1500, and now half, 15 and a half, and a half here, half and a half here. You're going to be 15 and a half, 16, and 1600 here, half and a half here. You're going to be 1600, and a half here. You're going to be 16, bit of a 16, bit of 16, going to be 16, bit of 16, going to be 100. V&J 1550. $6 years old, 7 years old. They're both 6 and 7 months. $1,000, 10, 11, and 10, 11, 10, 11, 11, 10, 11, 11, 11, 11, 100, 10, 11, and 10, 1100, 1100, 1200, going to be 1200, going to be 1300 here, going to be 1400, 15, and 15 and a half here, going to be 14 and a half, 1500, and 15 here, half and a half here, going to be 1500, and 15 and a half, and 15 and a half here, 1600 here, going to be 16, and 16 and a half, and 16 and a half here, half and a half here, going to be 16 and a half, 17, and 17, going to be 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 100 here, VJ, 16 and a half. You guys want to move these cows or talk Spanish all day? Okay. 85, 85, 85 here, going to be 85, 85, 85, 85, 85, 85, 87, going to be 7 of 5, going to get 90, going to get 2 and a half, 5, and 97 of 97 of $1, be $1, 2 and a half, going to be 105, going to get 7 and a half, 7 and a half, 10, going to be 110, 12 and a half, and 10 and 12 of going to be 10 and 12 of going to be 10, 12 of going to be 10, 12 of going to be 10, 12 and a half. Chris, 110, 13. Nope.
Probably not. They moving around?
I bet Kim's OU season tickets get cheaper as the year goes along.
They had to have a concert in Stillwater.
Yeah, the boys from Oklahoma might have to have a concert at Norman next year. She got a lump. She's 6 years old. She's 3 months. 95, yeah, 95, here, 95, 95, 97, 97, $2 2 and a half, 105 and a half, 7, going to be 110, 12 and a half, 15, 17 and a half, 17 and a half, 1750, 17 and a half, 17 and a half, 20, and 120, and 2 and a half, 5, and 7 and a half, 7 and a half, 7 and a half, going to be 27 and a half, here, going to be 27, a bit of a half, here, Cavus, 125. $130, 135, and 35, and 35, 35, 35, 35, 35, 35, 40, going to be 140, going to be 145, 45, 45, 50, 155, and 55, and 55 here, 55, 55, 55, 55, 55, 55, 55, 55, 55, sold 150, Jason 11. Jason 11. Here's another one, Coy. $1. 105. Yeah, 105. 5, here. 105 now. 10. Going to be 110. Going to be 10. Going to be 110. Going to be 10. Going to be 110. Going to be 105. Going to be 110. John, you're out 10. 115 and 15 and 10 and 15. Going to be 110 and 15. Going to be 110. Going to be 15. Going to be 12 and a half. 15. 12 and a half. 15. 12 and a half. 15. Cavaness 112 and a half. 3.
Wait, is that her?
Yeah.
She's got
1-year-old, she's 4 months bred, $1,000, 10, 1100, and 10, 11, 10, 11, 11, 11, 10, 11, 11, 12, and 12, and 13, 13, 13, 14, 1400, 1500, and 15, 15, 14, 1500, and 1400, 15, 15, going to be 114, 1500, 15, 15, 15, 15, going to be 14, going to be 15, going to be 100. Ricardo, 1400.
If she's 10-year-old,
You marked
next place.
Marcus said it to us last week for 30 cents a pound and should have been 330.
I did.
So when Buddy gets his check, he goes, Matt, you put 30 cents a pound? We'll fix it. We'll fix it. It's Zach, too.
110, 110, 10, 12 of 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 15, 7, 8 and a half, 20, going to be 122 and a half, 122 and a half, 1, and $21, 3, and 21, 3, and 21, 3, going to be 21, 3, going to be 21, 3, going to be 21, 3, D, 121, 2. $75, 75 here, 75 here, 75 here, 75, 75, 75, 75, 75, 75, 75, 77, 77, 750, 80, and now 80, going to 2 and a half, going to be 85, 87, going to be 87 and a half, 90, and 92 and a half, 92 and a half, 90, going to 2 and a half, going to be 90, going to 2 and a half, Cavaness 90 on X.
And then I had to call the guy at the bottom. He didn't catch it either. So I had to get him to bring his check back.
Male, please.
Older cows are 4 and 5 months bred, 110. 110, 11, 10, 11, and 10, 11, 11, 10, 11, 12, and 12, and 14, 14, 16, going to be 18, going to be 20, 122, 124, 124, 126, 126, and 24, going to be 26, you're going to be 24, going to be 26, you're going to be 24, going to be 6, so 124, Chris 17.
Okay.
Push this ticket, please. Like,
Those. Squeaking. Fat girl wagon. Yes, she is. She's got to be. She
And already weaned the calf.
Huh?
And already weaned the calf.
Probably, yeah. That's what happens when you don't go to prom. She's not old.
They don't look young either. You need male.
I know, I got it.
9, 10-year-olds, 6 and 7 months, 110. 110, 10, 12 of them, 10, 12 of them, going to be 110, 12 of them, 10, 12 of them, going to be 110, 12 of them, going to be 10, 12 of them, 15, and 17 and a half, and 23, 121, and 22, 22, 22, 3, 123, 24, 24, 25 here, 125, 6, and 25, going to be 600, and 25, going to be 6 here, going to be 25, going to be 6 here, 125, going to be 126, Chris, 125, 16. 110 and 10, 11, 10, 11, 10, 11, 11, 11, 11, 11, 11, 11, 10, 11, and 10, 11, 11, 11, 11, 10, 11, here, going to be 11, 12, and 12, and 14, going to be 14, going to be 14, going to be 16, going to be 16, going to be 18, there, going to be 18, going to be 18, 17, 18, and 17, 18, 19, and 19, bit of 19, bit of 19, bit of 19, going to be 18, 19, 18, bit of 19, going to be 18, bit of 19, going to be 18, bit of 19, here, D, 118, 2.
Who is this you're working on? H and H. Is it the
Dollar pound, 2.5. $1, had a high, bit of 2.5, good to be 2.5, bit of 2.5, 2.5, 2.5, 2.5, 5, bit of 5, bit of 7.5, 7 10, good to be 110, 12.5, 15, 17.5, 17.5, 17.5, 17.5, 17.5, Chad Drought, 17.50, 17, bit of a half here, good to be 17, good to be half here, good to be 17.5 here, Booker, 115.
That's better, whatever it was. You fixed it?
Yeah, put a little of that on.
What is that?
Bug spray. It'll freeze it up.
$85 here, going to be 87.5, 87.5, 87.5, 87.5, 87.50, 87.5, 90, bit of 92, 95, 95, 97, 97, dollar be 2.5, 102.5, 5, and 7.5, going to be 7.5, going to be 750, 10, and 110, 12.5, bit of 10, 12.5, going to be 15, bit of 17.5, 20, and 22.5, 122.5, 125, and 25 here, 25 here, 25, 25, 25, 25, 5, and 5, bit of 5, bit of 5, bit of 5, bit of 5 here, Chris, 122.5, 55. Older mamas, shortbread. 75, 75 here, 77 a hand, 77 a hand, 77 a hand, 75, 77 a hand, 77 a half, and 80, now 82 and a half, going to be 2 and a half, going to be 85, 87 and a half, and 90, and 2 and a half, 92 and a half, 95, 97 and a half, 97 and dollar bill, going to be 2 and a half, going to be 2 and a half, going to get 5, and 7 and a half here, going to be 110, bit of 10, 12 and a half, 10, 12 and a half, 15, dollar down, 17 and a half, 17, 20, and 122 and a half, 125, 125, and 20 and a half, 5, bit of get 5, bit of get 5, 125, bit of get 5 here, Chris, 122 and a half, 15. Me?
Needs practice.
Thank you. $85 here, going to be 85, 85, 85, 85, 85, 85, 87, going to be 87, going to get 92 and a half, 95, 7 and a half, dollar and a half, 2 and a half, 105, 7 and a half, and 10, going to be 110, bit of a 10, going to be 10, going to be 10, hand 10, going to be 10, going to be 10, bit of a 10, going to be 10, 110, 110, 110, and 10 about 10 there, going to be 110, bit of a 10 here, Chris, 107.50 on 13. She going to 12? Okay.
12, yeah, Chris 12.
Mark her up a little. 89.69. What?
I'll get him.
Let me see. Let me see. You only had 5 head, right?
I had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I had 5 heads, yeah. Oh. Okay, so it is the one that
I tried.
Well, they already
Already finished.
You think those 5 are?
I'm
here.
Now I'm here.
Yep.
Because I already took these in. This is the ones that we held that one off of.
Okay, so then that 5 head for Burl Rackley right there, those need to go in for Burl Rackley. You take those tickets out, those numbers out.
I'm gonna send these back.
Yeah. Take all those. Okay, so go back to the tickets. Because I don't think that's one's for, now go forward. Go forward. I don't think that's Steve Holman. I think that's Burl Rackley.
Well, I don't know that. Okay, all right. And that was Bill Rackley.
Then you had a 5 head. That shouldn't be for Steve Holman. It should be for Burl Rackley. I think they grabbed the wrong pin. Okay.
Lonnie's calling you.
That one should be a Steve Holman. Yep.
Yep. 110 and 10, 11, 10, 11, 10, 11, 11, 10, 11, 10, 11, 12, 11, 12, 13, 13, 14, 15, 16, and 17, 17, 18, 18, 19, 119, 20, and 20, and 21, 21, 21, 21, 2, 21, 2, 3, and 23, 24, 24, 25, here, 25, 25, 25, 25, 6, 125, going to be 6, 125, going to be 6, and 25, going to be 126, 125, going to be 6, here, sold, 125, S4.
You got to get Mel, Antonio. Mel.
Okay.
Okay, sorry, yeah, you guys just explained it. So they have my notes backwards, and I didn't look at my tab, and I put in the wrong, well, yes, the wrong name and the wrong tag. So the four head should be the Royal Raccoon, and then there's a 5 head deal for the Royal Raccoon, and then another 5 head deal for. Yes, yeah, that's why I realized that so much on that last set. That's the 5 head that has the first one was the Royal Raccoon. Yes, yeah. Okay,
You good?
All right, guys, 110, 11, 10, 11, 11, 10, 11, 11, 12, 14, going to be 16, going to be 18, going to be 22, 22, 21, 21, 21, 22, and 23, and 23, going to be 4, going to be 24, 5, and 25, 6, 125, going to be 6, 7, 7, 7, 8, 128, 129, bit of 30, going to be 30, going to be 30, 129, 30, and 29, 30, 29, going to be 30, going to be 30, 129, going to be 30, going to be 30, going to be 30, going to be 30, here, Booker, 129, nothing. $85 here, going to be 85, 85, 87, 92, 95, 7, $2, 2 and a half, 105, 7, 7, 10, going to be 110, 12, 10, 12, 15, and 15, 17, and 15, going to be 17, going to be 15, going to be 17, going to be 15, going to be 17, going to be 16, 17, and 17, going to be 18, 18, 19, going to be 19, and 20 here, going to be 120, and 19, bit of 20 here, going to be 20, bit of 20 here, going to be 20, 19, going to be 20, and 20 here, going to be 20, Booker, 119, nothing. 110, 11, and 10, 11, and 10, 11, 10, 11, 11, 11, 10, 11, 11, 10, 11, and 10, 11, 12, 11, 12, 13, 14, 14, 15, 16, 17, going to be 18, going to be 119, 120, 120, 121, 2, and 23, 124, 125, 5, and 26, 125, going to be 6, 7, and 7, and 7, and 7, and 7, and 7, 126, 7, and 26, and 7, and 7, and 7, here, going to be 7, going to be 7, here, going to be 7, about 7, here, going to be 7, Booker, 126.
Who we got?
110, 11, and 10, 11, and 10, 11, 11, 11, 10, 11, 10, 11, 11, 10, 11, 2, group 110, 11, and 10, 11, 11, 11, 11, 12, 11, 12, 13, 13, 14, 15, 15, 16, and 17, 17, group 18, group 19, bit of 19, 19, bit of 20, 121, 21, 21, 21, 21, 21, here, group 122, and 21, 2, 121, 2, bit of 2, 121, group 122, and 21, bit of 2, and 2, here, Booker, 121, 121. $2.5. $2.5. You made about 2.5. Gonna be 2.5. Gonna be 2.5. Gonna be 2.5. Gonna be 2.5. Gonna get 2.5. 102.5. 5. And 5. Gonna get 7.5. 7.5. 7. Gonna be 110. Gonna be 10. 12. 10. 12. 10. 12. Gonna be 10. 12. 50. And 10. 12. Gonna be 10. 12. Gonna be 10 and 12 here. And 10. Have 11. 12. 11. Gonna be 12. 11. Gonna be 12. Cavernous 111. Nothing. $110 and 10, 11, 10, 11, 11, 11, 11, 10, 11, 11, 11, 11, 10, 11, 12, and 12, 13, 13, 14, 14, 13, 14, 15, and 15, $16 here, 17, group 17, group 18, group 18, group 19, group 19, 20, and 120, 121, 121, 2, and 21, 2, 121, 2, 3, and 22, 4, 24, 24, 24 here, 24, 5, and 24 to 5, 25 here, 6, 125, group 6, Booker, 125, 21, straight. Booker straight. Isn't she cute? We're all going to go. 20 cents a pound. 25 cents a pound. 30. 5. 40. 5. 50. 5. 60. 5. 70. 75. 75. That's 70. 1X.
Will you preg check the gray 21s, please? Yeah, S1X. Preg check the gray 21s.
$121 and 21, 2021 here, 21, 21, 21, 21, 21 here, going to be 121 and 2021 here, 21, 21, 21, 9, 15, 16 and 15, 16, going to be 115, 16 and 15, 16 here, 15, going to be 16, 17 and 17, 18, 18, going to be 19, 19, going to be 19, 20 and now 20, 120, 20, going to be 19, going to be 20, 20, 20, sold 119, Chris 10. Four and 5 here is 120. 125, and 25, 5 here, 25, 25, 25, 25, 25, 25, 25, going to be 120, 120, 120, 120, and 25, 30, and 25 and 30, 30, 25 and 30, 35 here, 35, 35, 35, 35, 35, and 35, 35, 35, 35, 35, 35, 35, 35, 35, 35, 35, 35, sold. 130, Chris 10.
Yes, sir.
What number are they on? 16
Okay.
or 10?
That's
They're on 10.
Gray 10.
no,
It was the 21, Ed.
not really. So,
Okay, 85, 85, 85 here, group 85, 85, 85, and 90, 90, group 85, 89, group 85, 95, 95, 95, 95 dollar, a dollar bill, group 105, group 110, group 110, group 110, group 105, 110, and 10, 10, 10, bit of 10, group 10, bit of 10, group 10, bit of cabinets, 105, nothing.
Okay, sounds good.
105 cabinets.
Hundred ten, 11, 10, 11, 11, 11, 10, 11 here, group 110, 11, 10, 11, 11, 11, 10, 11 here, group 10, 11 here, 10, 11, 11, 11, very good 10, 11, very good 10, 11 here, group 111 here, group 110, 11, 12, 11, 12, 11, group 112, 11, group 112 and 13, very good 13, very good 13, very good 13, 13, 14, and 14, very good 14, group 13, 14, group 13, very good 14, Chris, 113, 10. Older cows or heavy bred, 7 months bred. $10, 110, 10, 12 of the van, bit of 10, 12 of the van, group 10, and 12 of the van, group 10, 12 of the van, 10, 12 of the van, 10, 12, and 10, 12 of the van, 15, and 15, bit of 17 and a half, group 120, group 122 and a half, 125, and 25, and 27 and a half, 7 and a half, 7 and a half, 7 and 30, and 30, 30, 30, group 30, bit of 30, group 30, bit of 30, group 30, bit of 30, group 30, group 30 here, sold, 127 and a half, Booker, straight. $121 and 21, 21 here, 21, 21, 21, 2, 22, 22, 21, 2, and 23, 123, 24, 24, 25 here, 26, 7, and 27, going to be 20 here, going to be 129, going to 9, 120 here, going to be 9, going to 30, and 29 and 30 here, going to be 30, going to be 30, 29, going to be 30, going to be 30, going to be 30, going to be 30, going to be 39, 30 here, Booker, 129 on 21. Lou, you going to go to the Hereford sale on Sunday? I believe I probably ought to attend for a couple hours.
All right, here we go. Your rolling shot. Finish the deal up.
I'm ready.
Where's it at? 5-year-old.
Right by his house.
$2 and a half, $2 2 and a half, going to be 2 and a half, 2 and a half, 2 and a half, going to be 2 and a half, going to be 2 and a half, 5 and 7 and a half, and half going to be 110, going to be 15, going to be 20, 125, 130, and 30, going to get 35, 35, 30, 40, going to get 40, and 45, 145, 50, $1.55, 55, 55, 60, 160, 160, 160, sold 155 JR5. $95 and 95 here, 95 here, 95, 95, 95, 95, 95 here, 95, 95, 95, 95, 95, it get 95, it get 95, 97 and a half, $1 here, 102 and a half, 105, it get 5, it get 5 and 5, 105, and 7 and a half, 7 and a half, 7 and a half, 7 and 10, going to be 110, going to be 110, going to be 10, going to be 10, going to be 10, bit of a 10, going to be 10, sold 107.50 gray, 5. Not really. A little bit. Old Longhorns. No idea. Oh, Hikes, yep. 75 and 75 80 and 75 77 and 75 77 and 80 now 80 now 2 going to be 85 85 85 85 87 going to be 87 going to get 90 and now 90 was here 92 and a half 92 and a half 92 50 and 90 going to get 2 and a half going to be 90 going to get 2 and a half going to be 90 going to be 2 and a half going to be 90 going to get 2 and a half here sort of 90 Cavernous 9. $50. 155 and 55 and 55 55 55 55 55 55 55 55 55 45 47 and 45 47 and 47 and 47 and 47 and 47 50 and 50 $1 50 and 50 and 50 going to be 150 50 50 50 50 50 50 50 50 50 50 50 here so 47 and a half hole 7.
Easter gale in the morning to here. Can you take care of it?
135 and 35 40 and 35 40 and 35 40 40 45 and 45 and 50 55 55 55 55 55 55 55 55 60 160 160 and 55 60 here going to be 60 here S 155 11.
Just thinking, take it, if you handle it, I'll just send you the guy's number. His name's Lynn Noble.
120 125 25 5 25 25 25 25 30 30 35 and 35 and 40 45 45 45 going to be 50 $1.50 and 45 and 50 50 50 50 145 and half 50 50 going to be 150 here's out 145 S11. No, it's very easy.
Well, I called JJ. I called Matt.
It's called money.
Kind of how it is. East of Yale. Hey.
35 40 and 35 40 and 35 40 you're going to get 2 and a half 42 and a half 45 45 45 45 45 here 45 there 45 and 5 5 5 5 5 here sold 142 and a half Gibbon Boo.
I got Brian Cook on. Called him again. I forget about him. I finished her out.
55 and 55 55 55 55 55 55 and him 55 57 and 57 and 57 and 60 now 2 and a half and 2 and a half going to be 2 and a half going to be 2 and a half going to get 2 and 5 and 65 and 65 65 65 65 65 65 65 here sold 162 and a half hole 7. $125 125 yeah 25 125 25 30 135 35 40 going to be 140 bless you 140 140 140 145 and 45 and 45 5 55 55 55 55 here going to be 145 going to be 145 50 150 150 and 45 50 there going to be 45 50 there 145 4. Yeah. 135 and 35 35 35 37 42 and a half 47 and a half 47 and a half 47 and a half 47 and a half 50 and a half 50 mid 50 150 2 and a half and 2 and a half 5 and 55 55 55 55 55 55 55 55 55 55 55 here sold 52 and a half hole 6. Yeah.
You gotta do this by yourself next week.
$125, 25, 25, 25, 25, 25, 25, 25, gonna be 25, gonna be 125, gonna be 125, gonna get 30, and 25 and 30, gonna get 35, 35, 40, gonna get 40, gonna get 45, gonna get 45, gonna be 145, and 45 here, 45 here, 45 here, sold 140, S11.
Where are you going to be? California?
Yes, sir. You go.
No. George, make it back.
Big up there. I did not see him. That will be in or out. Oh.
$125, 25, 25, 25, 25, 25, 25, gonna be 125, 30, and 25, gonna get 30, 25, gonna be 30, 25, 35, 35, 35, 40, gonna get 45, gonna get 45, gonna be 145, and 45 here, 45, 45, 45, 45 here, sold 140, JR5.
Dreamed all night. I'm sleepy today.
95, and 95, $95, and dollar bill, gonna be $1, pound, gonna be 2.5, gonna be 2.5, gonna get 5, gonna get 5, gonna get 7.5, 7.5, 7.5, 7.5, 750, and 7.5, gonna be 7.5, gonna be 110, gonna be 10, gonna be 10, 12.5, gonna be 10, 12.5, gonna be 10, 12.5 here, Booker, 110. Thank you. 10-year-old, 5 months. 95. 95, 95, 95, 95, 95, dollar bid, 2.5, 102, 95, 7.5, 7.5, 10, 12.5, 15, 7, 8.5, 20, gonna be 120, gonna be 120, 7, 8.5, gonna be 20, gonna be 20, gonna get 20 here, Chris, 17.5, 15, Chris, 15. Old cow, she's 5 month dollar. 2.5, $2, and I have $1, gonna be 2.5, gonna be 5, gonna get 7, gonna be 110, 12, 10, 12, 15 now, 15, and 12, gonna be 115, and 12, gonna be 115 here, same way, 112, 15, nope, put her on 13, X. She's a yearling, and she's 6 months bred. We got $500 on her. 600. 5, 600, 5, 6, and 5, 600. We together. 5, 600. There. 5, gonna be 600, and 5, 600, and 6, 7. Here, gonna be 7, and 7, 7, 7, half 7, and 700 a half. Here, gonna be 7, 5, gonna get 7, 7, half, 7, half, 750, 750. Now 800, 850, 8.5. Sold 800. What? Dylan, that's right, Dylan. 85, 85 here, gonna be 85, 85, 85, 85, 85, 85 here, gonna be 85, gonna be 85, gonna be 85, 7.5, 87.5 at 90, gonna be 90, gonna get 92 and a half, 5, and 95, 95, 95, 95 here, 95, 95, 95, 7.5, 97 $1 here, gonna be $1, 2.5, gonna be 2.5, gonna get 2.5, gonna be 2.5, gonna get 5, and 105 here, sold 102 and a half, gray 5. 3 years and open. 135, 40, and 35, 40, and 35, 40, 140, 135, 40, 140, 40, 35, going to be 140, and 35, 40, 45, 45, 50, 55, and 55, 55, 55, 55, 60, 160, 155, 60, Jason, 155, 11. $110, you 10, 12 of the van, 10, 12 of the van, 10, 12 of the van, going to be 110, 12 of the van, 10, 12 of the van, 10, 12 of the van, going to be 110, 12 of the van, 15, 17 and a half, 20, 122 and a half, 122, 50, and 20, 2 and a half, going to be 20, 2 and a half here, Cavis, 120. Dollar two and a half. $1.02. Had a half a dollar. Going to be 2 and a half. Going to be 2 and a half. Going to get 2 and a half. Going to be 102 and a half. 5 and 45. Going to get 5. Going to get 5. Going to get 5. Going to get 7 and a half. 7 and 10. Going to be 110. And 12 and a half. Going to be 10. 12 and a half. 15 and 15. Going to 15. Going to get 15. 12 and a half. Going to be 115. 12 and a half. Going to be 115 here, Chris. 112.50 on 13. Six years old. She's 6 months.
Nice cow. Let me check to make sure.
Yeah, 6 by 6, $1,000. 10, 1100. You 10, 11, 11, 11, 12, and 13, 13, 14, 15, 16, and 15 half, 15 half, and 15 and a half here, half and a half here, going to be 15, 50, and 15 and a half here, half and a half here, 16 and a half, and 16 and a half here, half and a half here, going to be 16 and a half, and 16 and a half, $1, going to be 16 and a half here, going to be 16. You know it's by the head, right? 16 and a half. Sold 1,600. Booker. 8 by 4? Maybe. That's what it is? Or 5 by 4? 5 by 4, 1,000. 10, 1100, and 10, 11, 10, 11, 11, 11, 11, 10, 1100, going to be 10, 11, 11, 12, 11, 12, 11, 1211, here, going to be 1211, here, going to be 1200, even to get 1200, 12, 13, even to get 13, half here, 1250, and 12 of a hand, 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 12 of a half here, sold her 1200, Chris 3, 1200. Just making sure we're all on the same page. Okay. 5 by 4, 120, 122 and a half, 125, 7 and a half, 30, 2 and a half, 5, 7 and a half, 40, 2 and a half, 5, 7 and a half, 50, 2 and a half, 52 and a half. Gibbon, 150. Gibbon. You went that far, might as well just own them. 120, 122 and a half, and 20, to get 2 and a half, going to be 25 here, 7 and a half, 7 and 39, 39, 30, to get 2 and a half, 5, and 37 and 37, 40, to get 40, and 40, and 7 and a half, 40, to get 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 40 here, so 137.50, Booker 21. Your little 4-year-old cow, she's 3 months bred. Sell the gray cow by the head. She's 4 by 3, $1,000. 10, 1100, and 10, 11, 10, 11, 11, 11, 11, 11, 11, 11, 10, 1100, and 10, 11, sell the gray, guys, right there, 1100, and 10, 11, 11, 11, 1100, here, going to be 10, 50, and 10 and a half, bit about that, here, going to be 10 and a half, bit about that, here, going to be 10 and a half, 10 and a half, 11, now 11, now 11 and a half, 11 and a half, now 11, 50, 12, and 1250, and 12 and a half, 12 and a half, 12 and a half, 12 and a half, here, going to be 1250, going to be 1250, going to be 12 and a half, sold her 1200, Chris 3.
So why do you put 2 tags in? Just put like 10. Just put like 1050. Whatever it is. Just. That's all we got.
10 years, she's 5 months. 95. 95. Yeah, 95. 95. 97 and a half. Dollar bid. 2 and a half. 102 and a half. 5. 5. 7 and a half. 10. Going to be 110. 12 and a half. 15. 17 and a half. 20. And 23. Going to be 20. Bid of 23. Going to be 20. Bid of 20. 23. Going to be 20. Bid of 20. Chris. 17 and a half. 15. Dollar 2 and a half. $8 2 and a half. Going to be 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 5. 7 and a half. 10. 12 and a half. 15 and a half. 17. 20. 122 and a half. 5. And 25. 25. 25. 25. Going to be 125. Going to be 5. 125. Going to be 5. Here, Booker. 122 and a half. 21. You tired too, Taylor? I am too.
Science fair project.
Science fair. I'll walk down I-35 all night in my dreams. Trying to get to Gainesville. I don't know what. Yeah, right? No kidding. Yeah, take all day. 75 and 75 and 75 here, 75 there, 75, 75, 75, 77 and a half, 77 and a half, 77 and a half, 75, 7 and a half, and now 80, and now 80, going to be 2 and a half, going to be 82 and a half, going to be 82 and a half here, going to be 2 and a half here, gray, $80 on 5. I think my green man's still walking. Are you going to go? $65 and 65 and 65, 65, 7 and a half, 7 and a half, 72 and a half, 75 here, 75, 77 and a half, now 80, going to be 2 and a half, going to be 5, going to be 7 and a half, now 90, and 2 and a half, 95, and 97 and a half, now dollar bid, 2 and a half, 105, 105, 105, and 105, 85, 85, 85, 85, 85, 85 here, sold, 102 and a half, Chris 13. $65 and 65 and 65, 65, 65, 7 and a half, 7 and a half, 7 and a half, 70, 72 and a half, 75 here, 77 and a half, now 77.50 and 77 and a half, and 80 there, you're going to be 82 and a half, going to be 5 here, you're going to be 87 and a half, 90 and 92 and a half, 92 and a half, 92.55 and 95, 95, 97 and a half, 97.50 and 97 and a half, 97 and a half here, Cabinets 95X. $121 and 21, 20, 21 here, 21, 21, 21, 21, 21 here, going to be 121 and 21 here, 21, 22, 22, 22, 3 and 4 and 25, 26, 26, 7, 7, 8, 28, 29, 9 and 20, 30 and 29 and 30 here, going to be 30, 30, going to be 30, 29, going to be 30, 39, going to be 39 here, going to be 30, 30 here, Gibbon, 129, Gibbon.
Shirley Roberts.
95, 95, 95, 95, 95, 95, 95, 95, 95, 95, 95, $95, a dollar 2 and a half, 105 here, 7 and a half, 10 pound, 10 and 12 and a half, 15 pound, 15 and 12 and a half, going to be 115, and 12 and a half, going to be 115, 17 and a half, now 20, 120, 120, you're out, and you're out, and you're out, 120, Brad's out, 120, 120 here, going to be 20, Booker, 117 and a half, 21. Dollar pound, 102 and a half. You two and a hand, 2 and a half, 2 and a half, 2 and a 5, and 1 and 5, 5, and 7 and a half, 7 and a half, 7 and 10, 110, 12 and 10, 12 and 10, 12 and 15, and 17 and a half, 17 and a half, 17 and a half, 17, 50, and 15, 17 and a half, 20, and 120 there, bit of 20, bit of 20, bit of 20, and 20 here, bit of 20, bit of 20 here, Chris, 17 and a half. Did you bid? 17. You sure? I don't know if I asked for 116, but we'll sell them to you. 13. Yeah. Youngins. 125, 825, 825, 30, 125, 39, 5 here, 35, 40, 45, 55, and 55, 55, 55, 60, 55, and now 65, and 65, JR, yeah, 65, 165, 165, 2 and a half, 5, 167 and a half, 67 and a half, 70, 170, and 172 and a half, and 72 and a half, 5, 75, 77 and a half, 80, and now 80 pound, 2 and a half, 5, 85, 87 and a half, 87 and a half, 87 and a half, 87 and a half, going to be 87 and a half, sold 185, Jason 11. Some room. 3 to 5 years old. 110, 110, 10, 5 of 10, 5 of 10, 5 of 10, 5 of 15, $7, 10 and a half, 20, 122 and a half, 25, 25, 27 and a half, and 750, and 20, 57 and a half, 7 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 and a half, going to be 27 and a half here, 27.50 here, Booker, 125 on 21. Hi, Mark. $2 and a half, $8 had a habit of 2 and a 5, and 1 5, going to be 7 5, going to be 110, bit of 10, 12 of 10, 12 of 15, $7, 10 and a half, 20, and 122 and a half, 125 and a half, 25, 25, and 25, 5, 25, 25, 25, 25, $26, and 25, 6, 7, and 6, 7, and 7, and 7, and 7, $8, 20, hey, 9, and 20, hey, good 9, 9, 20, hey, good 9, 9, 8, 9, Booker, 128 on 21. Seven by 4s and 5s. Thank you. 4 and 5 months bred. All right there, 110, 110, 10, 5 of 10, 5 of 10, 5 of going to be 110, 15, 17 and a half, 20, 122 and a half, 125, 7 and a half, 30, and 30, 30, 32 and a half, and 32 and a half, 32 and a half, going to be 32 and a half, going to be 30, 2 and a half, going to be 30, 2 and a half, and 32 and a half here, Gray, 130 on 16. Older cows are going to be 4 and 5 months bred. 95, 95, 95, 95, 97, 97, dollar bed, 2 and a half, 105, 107, 10, going to be 110, 12 and a half, 15, 15, 17 and a half, and 17, 15, 16, and 15, 16, 17, and 17, 18, 18, 19, going to be 119, 20, 121, and 22, 22, 21, 2, 3, and 23, 4, 24, 23, 4, and 23, 24, 24, 24, 24, 24, 23, going to be 23, 24, 23, 24, so 123, Chris 15. Okay. Yeah, same Gerald, they're all in the 90s. All right, good. Good. 85, 85 here, going to be 87 of them, 87 of them, going to get 92 and a half, 95, 95, and $7.50, a dollar paid 2 and a half, going to be 2 and a half, going to be 2 and a half, going to get 250 and 5, and 1 to 5, going to get 7 and a half, 7 and a half, 7 and a half, 7 or 10, going to be 110, going to be 10, going to be 110, going to be 10, going to be 110, not 10, and 110, going to be 110, going to be 110 here, Cabotus, 107 and a half, nothing, calf straight. Four and 5 year olds, 120. 125, 25 here, 25, 25, 25, 25, 25, 25, and 25 here, 5 here, going to be 125, and 25 here, 25, 25, 30, going to get 35, and 35, 35, 35, 40, going to be 145, and 45, going to get 50, $1.50, 55, 55, 55, 55, 2 and a half, going to be 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 2 and a half here, sold 150, Chris, 3X.
Randy Renbargers, those last ones.
110, 10, and 10, 12 of them, 10, 12 of them, 10, 12 of them, 10, 12 of them, $15, 17 and a half, 17 and a half, 17 and a half, 17 and a half, 15, 17, 20, 121, and 20 here, 21, 21, 21, 22, 21, 2, 3, and 22, together, going to be 2, 3, going to be 22, together, going to be 2, 3, going to be 22, together here, Gibbon, 122, Gibbon, 122. Six to 8 years old, daughter. 2 and a half, you 2 and a half here, 102 and a half, 2 and a half, good to 2 and a half, good to 2 and a half, good to 5, and 7 and a half, good to 110, 12 and a half, 15, 17 and a half, 20, and 20 here, 21, 21, 21, 21, 20 here, good to 120, 18, 19, and 19, 19, 19, 20, and 120, good to be 120, good to be 120, good to be 120, good to be 20, good to be 20, good to be 20 here, so 119, Chris, 13.
13.
Yep. 95, 95, 95, 7 and a half, 97, 97, 97, dollar rate, 2 and a half, 105, 7 and a half, 7 and 10, going to be 10, 12 and a half, 15, and 15, and 12 and a half, going to be 113, 12 and a half, going to be 13, 14, and 15, going to get 15, going to be 50, going to get 50, going to get 50, going to get 50, going to get 15, 14, 15, and 15 here, 14, going to get 15, going to be 14, going to get 15 here, Booker, 114, 11. Older cows, 4 to 6 months. Turner Farms. Down there. Amber. 110, 11, and 10, 11, and 10, 11, 11, 12, 11, 12, 13, 14, 14, 14, and 30, 14, 14, 13, 14, 15, and 15, going to be $16, $17, 17, going to be 18, bit of a 19, going to be 20, and 120, 1, and 20, and 21, 21, 21, 21, 21, 2, 1, get 2, 3, and 22, get 3, and 2, get 3, and 4, and 24, 5, and 24, 5, get 5 here, 124, 25 here, 26 here, 25, going to be 6, 7, and 27, going to be 20 here, going to be 9, get 9, and 25, get 30, and 30 there, going to be 30, get 30, 25, going to be 30, get 30 here, bit of a 9 here, going to be 30 there, going to be 30, get 30 here, sold. 129, Chris 17. Looks like some more. Ricardo, could you bounce in the ring, please? You or Antone? Could you and Antonio get in the ring, please? Got some older cows, 5 months bred here, 110. 110, 10, 12, 15, 17 and a half, going to be 122 and a half, 122 and a half, 21, 23, and 25, and 23, we give out 23, we give out 7, and 27, 25, going to be 7, 25, going to be 7, 25, going to be 7 here, 125, 127, 125, 7. Chris, 125 on 15.
Surely they don't tire them like that, do they?
I think it's a different turner.
Oh, is it really?
Well, I have girls. All fours and open. I bet that's why they're here. 125, 25, 5 here, 25, and 25, 25, 25, 25, 25, 27 and a half, 7 and a half, 7 and a half, 7, 30, 32 and a half, going to be 2 and a half, 5, and 35, 37 and a half, 37 and a half, 37 and a half, 37 and a half, 37, 50, and 30, 7 and a half, going to be 35, going to be 7 and a half, 7 and a half, 7 and a half, 7 and a half, you're sold. 135, S21.
White cow.
110, 110, 12, 10, 12 of a going to be 10, 12 of a going to be 10, 12 of a going to be 110, 12 of a going to be 10, 12 of a going to be 110, 12 of a 10, 12 of a 15, and 15, to 57, Peter and a half, 20, going to be 120, going to be 20, going to be 20, 118, and 17 and a half, 18, and 17 and a half, going to be 18, going to be 18, going to be 18, going to be 18 here, Booker, 117 and a half, 22. Hundred ten, 10, 12 of a going to be 10, 12 of a 10, 12 of a 10, 12 of a 10, 12 of a going to be 110, and 12 of a going to be 110, 12 of a going to be 10, 12 of a going to be 10, 12, 50, and 10, 12 of a 15, and 17 and a half now, 17 and a half, 17 and a half, 17 and a half here, 17, 50, 20, and 120 there, going to be 120, but 22 and a half, 122 and a half here, so 120, Booker, 22. You leaving, Vernon? Goodbye, my friend. Bee sting. Bull don't mind that bull, does it? 30 cents a pound. 30 cents a pound. 20 cents a pound. 67 years. Oh, 6 or 7 years. She's had a calf every year, just ugly headed. What'd she get stung by? Huh. She's had a calf every year, the man said. 30 cents a pound. 5, 40, 5, 50, 5, 60, 5, 70, 5, 75 cents a pound. 75 cents a pound. Sold her 70. Chris 14. $135, 35, 35, 37, 37, 40, 42 and a half, 42 and a half, 45, 7 and a half, 7 and a half, 7 and a half, 50, and down 2 and a half, good to 2 and a half, 5, and 57 and a half, 57 and a half, 7 and a half, 7 and a half, 60, 160, 160, 160, and 60 there, here, 160 here, a whole, 157 and a half, 7. 7 and a half. Yes, sir. 35. 35. 35. 35. 35. 35. And 40. 45. 45. 50. Now 55. 55. 55. 55. 55. 55. 2 and a half. 5. That's half. And 57 and a half. And 57 and a half. 60. 160. 162 and a half. And 1. As it gets 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 1. Sold. 160. Hole 7. Hundred ten. 110 and 10 to 15, bit of a 10 to 15, going to be 110, bit of 15, bit of a 10 to 15, bit of a 10 to 15, 20, 125, 25, 25, and 30, bit of 35, and 35, 35, 35, 35, 35, bit of 35, bit of 35, 35 here, 35 here, 35, 30 was sold. 130, Cavaness Bull. $125, yeah, 25 here, 25, 20, 30, and 35 here, 35, 40, and 40, and 40, and 40, we get 40, 40, and 35, 40, we get 42 and a half, 40, and 7 and a half, 40 and a half, 40, we get 40, we get 40, going to be 40, we get 40, we get 40, we get 40, we get 40 here, hole, 37 and a half on number 7. $85 out of 5 here, going to be 85, 85, 85, 85, and 90, and 95, 95, 95, 95 dollar here, going to be $1 pound, going to be $1 here, going to be $1 here, going to be $1, going to be $1, 2 and a half, going to be 2 and a half, going to get 250, and 2 and a half, going to be 2 and a half here, Cavaness X, $1. 75, and 75 here, 75 here, 77 and a half, 77 and a half, 77 and a half, going to be 80, going to get 2 and a half, 5, 85, 87 and a half, 87 and a half, going to get 90, going to be 2 and a half, 95, and 95, 7 and a half, 97 and a dollar here, going to be $1, 2 and a half, going to be 2 and a half, going to be 2 and a half, going to get 2 and a half, and 2 and a half, going to be 102 and a half here, sold $1, S4X, 4X. $0.50 a pound. 55, 60, 5, 70, 5, 75, 80, 5, 85, and 90, 95, and $100 bill, $105, $105, 10, $110, 15, 110, 15, and 10 and 15, bit of a 10 and 15, low, you're out 20, and 125, 125, 125, sold 120, Cavaness Bull X. $121, and 21, 21, hey, 21, 21, 3, we get 3, and 23, 5, and 25, 27, and 7, and 7, and 7, and 9, 125, we get 31, 31, 31, 2, and 2, 3, we get 33, we get 33, we get 34, 33, 4, and 33, 34, 33, 34, 3, going to be 33, we get 34 here, Gibbon, 133. See, that's Derek. And that was Brian.
Tell him. Red cow.
Here's one good black motley face cow. What is she? 3 by 5 plus. Like to have about 1,500 a starter. 15, 16, and 15, 16, and 15, 16, 117, 18, 19, 19, 2, and 2,000, 1, and 21, 2, 21, 2, 22, 100, 21 and a half, 21 and a half, 21 and a half, 21, 50, and 21 and a half, now 2, and 22, 50, good bit 2 and a half, good bit 2 and a half, 2 and a half, 3, and 23, 23 and a half here, 23, 50, and 20, 3 and a half, good bit 20, 3 and a half, good bit 20, 3 and a half here, so 2,300 more, 77. Never heard of such a number.
Roy's the one that thinks about that. Roy Burns.
5 years old. She's 4 months. $1,000. 10, 11, 100, and 10, 11, and 10, 11, 11, 12, 13, 13, 14, 15, and 15, 16, and 15, and a half here, half and a half here, going to be 15, 50, 16, and 1,600, there, 16 and a half, 17, and 17, 17, 17, 17, 17, 17, going to be 17, going to be 17, going to be 17, going to be 17, Harper, 16 and a half, Harper. Mm-hmm. 130, 135, and 35, 5 here, 35, 35, 35, 35, 35, 35, 35, 35, 40, 40, 45, going to be 145, going to be 145, going to be 145, and 45 here, 45 here, 45, 45, 45, 45 here, S, 140 on 21. $85, $85 out of 5 here, going to be 85, 85, 85, 85, 85, 85, 85 here, going to be 85, going to be 7 and a half, going to be 80, 7 and a half, 87 and a half here, going to be 90, and 90, going to get 2 and a half, 95, 95, 97 and a half, 97 $1 here, going to be $1, 1, 2 and a half, going to be 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 2 and a half, Chris, $1, 4X. $110, 12 and a half, 10, 12 and a half, going to be 10, 12 and a half, going to be 10, 12 and a half, going to be 110, going to 12 and a half, going to be 10, going to 12 and a half, going to be 15, and 17 and a half, 17 and a half, 17, 50, and 17 and a half here, going to be 17 and a half here, great, 115 on number 10, X.
Money got a little higher, but our weight went down 80 pounds.
125, 25, 5 here, 25, 25, 25, 25, 25, 30, and 25, 30, and 5, and 35, and 40, we get 40, 35, and 40, 35, going to be 40, 45, we get 45, 50, $1.50, 55, 52 and a half, and 2 and a half, 5, 55, 55, 55, 55, 55, 55 here, 55 here, 55 here, 55, 55, 55 here, sold, 152 and a half, Chris, 3X, Chris, 3X, 4X, gotcha.
Chris, he's getting nervous. He's walking around.
Older cows, 4 and 5 months. 3 to 5 months. 110, 11, 10, 11, 12, 13, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, and 17, 17, 17, 17, 17, 17, 17, 18, 19, 20, 1, 2, and 21, 2, 21, 2, 21, 2, 22, 22, 22, 2, G-bid 1, 2, 122, 122, 123, 124, 124, and 3, 4, there, you're going to be 3, you're going to be 4, you're going to be 3, you're going to be 4, you're going to be 23, 24 here, Chris. 123, 15. $95, $95, $97, $97, $97, $95, $7, dollar, $2.5, going to be $105, going to be $5, $7, $7, $10, going to be $110, $12, made $12, $15, and $15, $57, $7, $17, $50, $7, going to be $7, going to be $17.5 here, sort of $115 Gibbon of the Booker 22. $2.5, you $2.5 here, going to be $2.5, 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 going to be $102.50, and 5, and 7, 10, going to be $110, 12, 10, 12, 15, down 17.5, going to be $120, $122.5, $122.5, and 21, and 20, and 21, 21, 21, 21, 21, 21, here, going to be $121, $121, you know you're out, $121, and 20 now on here, on here, so $120 Booker, 22. Seven years old, they're 4 and 5 months. 110, 11, 10, 11, 11, 11, 11, 11, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, going to be 19, 120, 121, 122, 122, and 21, 2, 2, 121, 22, and 22, 3, 23, 3, and 24, 24, 24, 23, 4, and 23, 4, here, going to be 23, 4, here, gray, 123, 17. 92.73, 92.74. Yeah. Nope. $75 and $75.80 and $75.80, $75 go to be $80, $75 go to be $80 downside, $80, and $75 go to be $85, $85 and $90, $95 dollar, $1 here, $95 here, $95 $1 go to be $1 go to be $1 Chris, 95 13. 95 Chris 13, 90 just 95. I'm not throwing you for curveballs today. $110, 10, 12 of them, go to be 10, 12 of them, go to be 10, 12 of them, 10, 12 of them, 10, 12 of them, go to be 110, go to be 110, go to be 110, and 12 of them, go to be 10, and 12 of them, 15, and 17 and a half, and 17 and a half, go to be 17 and a half, 17 and a half, 17 and a half, 17 and a half, 20, 120, now 1. 121 and 21, 20, 21, 2, and 21, 2, 2, here, Cabinets, 121, 3. 121 Cabinets, 3. Yep. 75, 75 here, 75, 75, 75, 75, 75, 75, 75, 75, 80, and now 75, group of 80, 75, group of 80, 75, group of 80, 75, group of 85, 85, 85, and 90, 90, 90, bless you, 90, 95, and 95, 95, 95, 95, 95, 95, 95, 95, 95, 95, sold, 90, Cavanus, X.
Those seem high to you.
Just 90.
Yeah, just 90.
Yeah.
I mean, jeepers. Just skeletons.
85, 85 and 90, 85 and 90, 85 and 90, 85 and 90, group 95, 95, 95, 95, dollar bill, group 2 and a half, group 2 and a half, group 5, 7 and a half, 7 and a half, 7 and a half, 10, group 110, 12 and a half, group 10, 12 and a half, 15, and 17 and a half, 17, 20, group 122 and a half, 122 and a half, and 20, group 2 and a half, group 21, 3, and 23, 21, group 3, 21, group 3, 21, group 3, here, Chris, 121, 10. Hundred ten, 11, 10, 11, 11, 11, 11, 10, 11, 11, 10, 11, here, group 110, 11, 10, 11, 11, 11, 11, 10, 11, here, group 10, now 11, Jimmy Brad 12, and 12, 13, 13, 14, group 114, group 115, and 50, 50, 15, here, group 14, 50, 16, and 16, out of here, group 16, group 16, 16, out of here, group 16, here, so 115, grade 10, X, Brad, 2, D2. 9, 10 years old, they're 4 months, 110. 110, 11, 10, 11, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, group 17, group 19, group 21, 3, 21, 3, 5, and 27, and 27, 25, group 7, 5, group 7, 25, group 27, and 27, and 7, 7, 7, 7 here, group 27 here, Booker, 125 on 22. Windy yesterday. 85, 85 out of 5 here, group 85, 85, 85, 85, 85, 85 here, group 85, group 85, 85 out of 5 here, group 85, 85, 87 and a half, 87 and a half, 90, 92 and a 5, and 95, 95, 95 and a 5, 95, 95, 95, 95 and a 5, 95, 95, 95 here, Cavanus, 92 and a half. We had to play a little different ball flight with that north wind yesterday. Some holes I was used to hitting about a 5 iron. I had to go hit a 9 iron.
Where'd you play at?
Lincoln East. 110. 110, 11, 10, 11, 12, 13, 15, 17, 19, 21, 23, 21, 3, and 25, 3, 5, 25, 7, 27, 25, 7, 9, 129, and 27, 29, 7, 25, S, 127 on 5. Seven years old, and she's 4 months bred, 110. 110, 12 and a half, 10, 12 and a half, 10, 12 and a half, 15, down 17 and a half, going to be 120, 122 and a half, 122, 50, 5, and 25, 7 and a half, 7 and a half, 7 and a half, 7 and a half, going to be 27 and a half here, going to be 27 and a half here, S, 125, 4. Hundred ten, 11, 10, 11, 11, 11, 11, 10, 11, 11, 11, 11, 11, 10, 11, 2, going to be 110, 11, going to be 10, 11, going to be 110, 11, 12, and 13, and 13, 15, 17, and 17, going to be 17, going to be 15, 17, going to be 115, going to be 17, going to be 17, going to be 17 here, Booker, 115, 22.
tired, Antone?
0519.
Did you get your head fixed? They fixed it already? I see.
She just a little nerve something. She just medicine. My eyes start moving.
Good.
I got a
110, 11, and 10, 11, 11, 11, 11, 10, 11, 11, 11, 11, 11, 10, 11, here goes outside, 11, and 10, 11, and 10, 11, 12, 13, 15, and 50, 50, 30, 50, 17, a bit of a 17, good to be 19, good to be 19, good to be 19, 20, 121, and 29, 21, 21, now 2, and 23, 53, and 23, 24, and 24, 25, and 24, 5, 6, 125, good to be 6, 7, and 27, and 7, and 7, and 7, and 7, here, good to be 126, 7, here, 7, here, good to be 7, so 126, Cavanus.
lady in the same place they sent me. A little cow, they hit it with a hole right over here. About 1 inch above, they lost the eye.
Oh.
Right here, the whole eyeball is white now. Good, careful, John.
All right, hang on just a minute, guys. Hang on.
Yeah, they got hit right over here. You don't see nothing.
Got
The
kicked?
whole eye come out white.
Ooh,
Sorry, that tag was wrong.
man.
The time, they thinking they might be going to be driving, but not good. Not kidding.
121, and 21, 20, 21, here, 21, 21, 21, 21, 20, here, going to be 123, and 5, and 25, 27, going to be 25, going to be 31, going to be 33, and 33, 35, 35, 37, 37, 37, 35, going to be $7, going to be 35, going to be 7, sold, 135, S21.
About 245, Johnny.
How much?
245 is what Dave tells me.
250 cows left?
Okay, nope. 8-year-old, she's 5 months, 110, 110, 11, 10, 11, 11, 11, 11, 10, 11, 11, 11, 10, 11, here going to be 110, 11, 10, 11, 11, 11, 12, 11, 12, 13, 13, 14, 15, and 15, 16, now 16, now 16, here, 15, 16, and 17, and 17, 18, 18, going to be 18, 19, going to be 119, 20, and 121, 21, 22, 22, 21, 2, 21, going to be 2, going to be 2, going to be 2, great, 121, 16. Wait, little cow, 6-year-old cow here, $2.50, 102.5. You 2.5 here, bit of a half, you 2.5, you 2.5, going to be 2.5, you 2.5, going to be 2.5 here, $100, and 2.5, and 2.5, 105, 7.5, 7.5, 10, going to be 110, bit of a 10, going to be 110, going to be 10, 10, 10, going to be 10, 12.5, 10, 12.5, 15, 15, and 15, 30, 15, 50, so 112.5, showtime, 112.50. Ten by 4. 85, 85 out of 5 here, going to be 85, 85, 85, 85 and a half, 87 and a half, going to be 87 and a half, going to be 90, going to get 92 and a half, 95, and 97 and a half, dollar pound, 2 and a half, 105, 7 and a half, now 10, and 10 and 12 and a half, going to be 10, 12 and a half, 15, 17 and a half, 20, and 120, going to be 120, going to be 120, going to be 120, going to be 20, and 20 by 20 there, going to be 20 here, going to be 20 there, going to be 20, going to get 20 here, Chris, 17 and a half on number 15. Pair of sevens, 7 years old. She's 7 months. 1,300, 13 half, at 13 and a half here, half and a half here, going to be 1,350, at 13 and a half here, where then? 110, 110, 12 of 10, 12 of 10, 12 of 15, 17 and a half, 17 and a half, 1750, 17 and a half, going to be 17 and a half, going to be 22 and a half, 22 and a half, 22 and a half, 122 and a half, 5, 127 and a half, 127.50, 27 and a half here, 127 and a half here, Chris, 125, 3. 55, and 55, and 55, and 55, 55, 55, 55, 55, 65, 70 and a half, 5 here, 75, 75, 75, going to be 85, 85, 85, 85, 85, and 90, 95, and 95 here, 95, 95, 95, 95, 95, 95, 95, 95, 95, sold, 90, Cavanagh X.
They got them Brian.
How many is there? Might tell them in the back.
Flushing cows aren't bringing as much as the.
110. 110, 10, 12 of them, 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 15, 20, 120, 125 here, 25, 25, 25, 25, 25 here, 125, and 25, and 25, 125, 55 here, so 120, Chris 10, 120. $10, 110, 10, 12 of them, 10, 12 of them, 10, 12 of them, going to be 110, and 12 of them, going to be 10, 12 of them, going to be 15, and 15, 17 and a half, 17, 20, there, going to be 120, and 2 and a half, 125, and 25 here, 25 here, 25 here, 25 here, 25, 25 here, Booker, 122 and a half, 22. $121 and 21, 2021 here, 21, 21, 21, 21, 21, 21 here, going to be 121 and 2021 2 and 22, 121, going to be 22, 21, going to be $2 here, gray, 121 10x.
How many calves tomorrow?
Great. $110, 11, 10, 11, 11, 11, 10, 11, 11, 11, 11, 11, 10, 11, here, 110, 10 a pound, here, 10, 11, and 10, 11, and 10, 11, 11, 11, 11, 12, 11, and 12, and 12, 13, 30, 14, going to be 115, going to be 116, and 16, here, going to be 50, 16, here, 50, there, going to be $16 here, Booker, 115, 22. 110, 11, 10, 11, 11, 11, 10, 11, 11, 13, 13, 15, 17, 17, 19, 19, 21, 23, 23, 21, 35, and 25, 23, 57, 129, 129, 127, 9, and 27, going to be $9, going to be 7, going to be $9 here, Booker, 127, 22. Five years old. She's 3 months. 120. 121 and 21, 2021 here, 121, 21, 21, 21, 21 here, going to be 121 and 21 here, going to be 21, 35, 127, going to be 129, going to be 131 and 33, going to be 33, 31, 33, 5 and 37, going to be 39, going to be 39, going to be 39, going to be 41, 3 and 41, 43, 45, 45, 43, 5, 43, 45, 7, 147, 149, 149, 150. Now 1. Sold 150, Chris 3. 55, 55, 60, and 60 here, going to be 65, and now 70, 75, 75, and 80, going to be 80, going to be 85, 85, 85, and 90, going to get 95, and now here now, $1 here, going to be $2.50, going to be 102.5, 5, and 45, 85, 85, 85, 85, 85, and now 5 here, sold 102.5, S4X. 110, 10, 12 of them, 10, 12 of them, 15, 17 and a half, going to be 120, 120, 120, 122 and a half, 122 and a half, 125, and 25, 25, 25, 25, 25, 25, 25, 25 here, 125 here, gray, 122 and a half, 10X. How much? 3-year-old. 110. 110, 15, and 10 and 15, 10 and 15, here, 20, 20, 125, 25, 25, 35, and 35 and 40, 45, 40, 35, 40, 35, 40, and 35 and 40, 40, 45, here, 45, here, 45, 50, $1.50, and 45 and 50, 50, 50, 45, 50, there, going to be 145, 50, here's on 145, JR, 5, JR, 5. 2-year-old, $1.50. 155 and 55 here, 55, 55, 55, 55, 55, 55 on her here, 155, 60, 5 and 70, 75, 175 and 75 5 here, 75 here, 75, 75, 75, 75, 75, 75 here, sold 170, Ricardo. Daughter be 2.5. Daughter 2.5. Here, gonna be 2.5. 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 5 and 105 and 7.5. 7.5. 710. Gonna be 110. Gonna be 10. 12. Gonna be 10. 12. Gonna be 115 and 17.5. 17.5. 17.5. 20 and 120. Gonna be 20. Gonna be 20 and 23. Gonna be 20 here. And 23. Gonna be 20 here. Booker 117.5. 22. Got any groups or just singles?
You got plenty of singles. Just
Singles bring more. Okay.
looks like it.
There's 80 Mac.
Fisher coming tomorrow. You talk to him. Are those too high? Are those too high?
Don't look at me. You didn't give me the deal.
You said yeah.
Yeah. I was in and didn't know I was in.
You can find that stuff right there. Awesome. 95, 95, 95, 95, 95, 95, 95, 97, 97, 97, 97, 50, and 97, group 97 and a half here, Cavus, 95. You leaving, Tyler? See you, man. Daughter 2.5. Daughter 2.5 here. 102.5. Gonna be 2.5. Gonna be 2.5. Gonna be 102.5. Daughter 2.5. 5 and 1.5 and 7.5. 7.5. 7.5. 17. Gonna be 110. 12. Gonna be 10. 12. Gonna be 10. 12. Gonna be 10. 12. Gonna be 10. 12. 15 and 15 and 57. 8.5. 7. 8.5. 7. 8.5 here. Half here. Gonna be 7. 8.5 here. Booker 115. 22. $100 2.5. $8 2.5. 5.5. 7.5. 7.5. 7. 10. Gonna be 110. 12. 10. 12. 15. 17 and a half. 17. 20 and 22 and a half. 25 here. 27 and a half. 7. 30 and 32 and a half. 35 and 37 and a half. 37 and 42 and a half and 45. 45. 7 and a half. 47. 50 and 40. 57 and a half. Gonna be 47 and a half here. 47 and a half here. Gibbon 145. 110, 110, 11, and 10, 11, 11, 11, 11, 10, 11, 11, 11, 11, 11, 10, 11, 12, 11, 12, 13, 13, 14, 14, 15, 16, 16, 17, 18, 19, 19, 20, in 21, and 20, and 21, 21, 2, 21, 2, 21, 2, 21, 2, and 21, 2, 121, going to be 2 over here, S, 121, 5. S5. Daughter 2.5, daughter 2.5 here, 102 and a half, 5, 7 and a half, 7 and a half, 10, bit of a 10, 10, 12 of them, bit of a 10, 12 of them, 15, and 15, and 12 of them, going to be 115, 12 of them, 15, 17 and a half, 17 and a half, 17, 50, and 17 and a half, going to be 17 and a half, 17 and a half, 17 and a half here, JR, 115, 5. Eight years and 4 months, guys. 110. 110, 11, 8, 10, 11, 11, 11, 10, 11, 12, 13, 13, 12, 13, 13, 14, gonna be 114, gonna be 115, 16, and 16, 17, 18, gonna be 18, gonna be 19, gonna be 19, gonna be 120, gonna be 120, gonna be 1, and 20, 21, 21, 21, here, gonna 121, 21, 21, here, D, 122.
D2.
$1.50. 155 and 55 and 55, 55, 55, 55, 55, 60, 5, 170, 170, 170, and 73, 170, 70, going to be 70, going to be 75, 175, 80, 185, 90, 195. 195, and now 2, and 2 out here, going to be 2, 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 here's 195, JR5. 110, 10, 12 of 10, 10, 12 of 10, going to be 110, 12 of 10, 12 of 10, 12 of 10, 12 of 15, $7, 10 and a half, going to be 120, going to be 120, 122 and a half, 121, and $21, and $21 one here, 21, 21, 21, 21 here, D, 120, on 2, 120. Dollar two and a half, $1.02 and a half, $1 gonna be 2 and a half, gonna get 2 and a half, gonna be 2 and a half, gonna be 2 and a half, gonna be 2 and a half, gonna get 2 and a half, gonna be 2 and a half, gonna be 2 and a half here, Chris, $1, 4x. No.
No.
Five years old. She's 5.5 months bred. 1,500. 15 and a half. And 15 and a half here. 16. 17. 18. 19. 1,900 half. 19 and a half. 2,000 half. And 20, 21, 21, 21, 21, 21, 21. Georgia. 2,100. 21 and a half. 21 and a half. 2. 2,200. 22. And 2,200 and a half. 22 and a half. 3. And 23 to 3. And 2,300. So 22 and a half. Chris 3. 2250. 5 years old. She is 4 months, I believe. 5 by 4, $1,000, 10, 1,100, 10, 11, 10, 11, 11, 11, 1,200 a half, 12 a half, 12 a half, going to be 13 and a half, 1,400 a half, 14 and a half, 1,500 a half, and 16, and 16 and a half, 17 and a half, 17 and a half, 18 and a half, 1,900, and 19, bit of 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 19, Harper, 1,850. $110, you 10, 12 of them, bit of a 10, 12 of them, going to be 110, 12 of them, bit of a 10, 12 of them, going to be 110, 110, 110, 110, $1 a pound, 2 and a half, 5, 7 and a half, 10, 12 and a half, 15, and 17 and a half, 17 and a half, 1750, and 17 and a half, going to be 17 and a half, going to be 17 and a half, 20, 120, 122 and a half, 122 and a half, Booker, 120, 22, 8 by 5, 110. 110, 10, 12 of them, 10, 12 of them, 10, 12 of them, 10, 12 of them, going to be 10, 12 of them, going to be 10, 12 of them, going to be 10, 12 of them, 15, and 17 and a half, 120, 120, 120, jiggy 20, and 23, going to be 22 and a half, 122 and a half, 5, and 20 and a half, 5, 5, 5, 5, 5, 5 here, Dylan, 122 and a half, Dylan. $2 and a half, $102 and a half here, 102 and a half, 2 and a half, 102 and a half, 102 and a half, 105, 5, 7 and a half, 7 and a half, 10, going to be 110, 12 and a half, 15, and $15, 17 and a half, 17 and a half, 17 and a half, 17, 20, and 122 and a half, 125, and 25, 25, 25, 25, 25, 25 here, 25 here, sold 122 and a half, JR1.
George, make it back. George, make it back.
95, and 95 here, 95, 95, 95, 95, 95, 97 of hand, 97 of hand, 97.50, and 97 of hand, $1 of hand, going to be 2 and a half, going to be 105, going to be 7 and a half, 7 and 10, going to be 110, going to be 10, going to be 10, going to be 10, going to be 10, going to get in, sold 107.50, Booker 22. 110, yeah, 10, 12 and a half, and 10 and 12 and a half, good to be 10 and 12 and a half, good to be 10 and 12 and a half, good to be 10, 12 and a half, 10, 12 and a half, 10, 12 and a half, 15, 17 and a half, 20, 120, 122 and a half, 25 here now, 30, and 30, and 7 and a half, 7 and a half, 7 and a half, good to be 27, 30, and now 30, good to be 30, good to get 30, good to be 30, good to get 30, good to be 30, good to get 30, 30, now 30 here, JR, 127 and a half, 1. 75, 80, 75, 80, 75, good to be 80 here, 75, good to be 80 now, 75, good to be 80, 75, good to be 85, 85, 85, and 90, 95, and 95, 95, dollar, $1 pound, 2 and a half, 105, 107.50, and 7 and a half, good to be 7.50 here, good to be 7 and a half here, good to be 7 and a half here, so 105, Chris 13. One year, she's 7 months bred. He'll give 1,000 on her. 10, 1,100, 10, 11, yeah, 10, 11, 11, 11, 11, 11, 12, and 12, 13, maybe to get 13, 13, 14, maybe to get 14, maybe to get 14, maybe to get 14, maybe to get 14, 15, and 15, and 15, 1600, 1700, and 17, going to be 16, 17, and 17, maybe to get 17, going to be 17, maybe to get 17, now 17, going to be 17, going to be 17, sold 1,600, hike. $75, and 75, 75, 80, and 75, go to be 80 cents a pound, 75, go to be 80 cents a pound now, 85, 85, 85, and 90, 95, 95, 95, 95, $1 pound, 5 here, go to be 105, 10, go to be 110, 15, 20, 120, and 15, bit of 25 here, 125, 125, 125, 30, now 30, now 5, 35, sold 130, JR, 5. 85, 85 out of 5 here, going to be 85 and 90, 85 and 90 there, 85, 95, 95, $1 bid, 2 and a half, 100, 2 and a half, 105, 7 and a half, 7 and a half, 7 and a half, 10, going to be 110, 12 and a half, and 10, 12, 50, and 10 and 12 and a half, going to be 10 and 12 and a half, going to be 15, 15, and 17 and a half, 17 and a half, 17, 50, and 17 and a half, going to be 17 and a half, 17 and a half here, Cavus, 115, nothing. $2 and a half, $2 and a half here, 102 and a half, good to be 2 and a half, good to get 2 and a half, good to be 2 and a half, good to get 5, and 4 and a half, 7 and a half, 7 and 10, good to be 110, 12 and a half, 10, 12 and a half, 15, and 17 and a half, 17 and a half, 17, 50, and 17 and a half, good to be 20 there, 120, 120, 120, 120, good to get 20, good to be 20, good to be 20, good to get 20, sold 17 and a half, 117, 50, Booker 22. $121 and 21, 2021 here, 21, 21, 21, 21, 30, 35, 23, 5, and 23, 5, 23, 5, 23, 5, going to be 23, 5 here, Gray, 123, 10X. $85, $85 here, going to be 85, 85, 85, 85, 87, going to be 7, going to be 87, 50, 87 and a half here, going to be half here, going to be 87, 92 and a half, 95, and 97 and a half, 97 $1 here, going to be $1, going to be $1, going to be 1, 2 and a half, and 2 and a half and 5 here, going to be 105, 7 and a half, 7 and a half, 7 and a half, going to be 7 and a half here, so 105, Cabinet straight. $75, yeah, 75 here, 75 here, 75, 75, 80, 75, go to be 80, 75, go to be 80, 75, go to be 80, now 85, 85 and 90, 90, hit 90, hit 90, 85 and 90, there, go to be 85, 90, S, 85, 1X. S1X. Dollar 2.5. 802.5 here. Bit of 2.5. Bit of 2.5. Bit of 5. 7.5. Going to be 110. Going to be 112.5. Going to be 15. And 17.5. 20 here. Going to be 120. And 2.5. 122.5. And 20. Bit of 2.5. Going to be 20. Bit of 2.5 here. So 120. That will be S4. 120. Dollar be 2.5. 802.5 here. 2.5. Bit of 2.5. Going to be 2.5. Bit of 2.5. Going to be 102.5. 802.5. 5. Bit of 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 5 here. Capitus 102.5. Nothing.
That's a singles. What the hard pen? Oh.
Oh. Dollar 2.5. $8.2.5 here. 102.5. 102.5. 102.5. 102.50. And 2.5. Bit of 5. Bit of 5. Bit of 5. 7.5. 7.5. 7.10. Going to be 110. And 12 of them. Bit of 10. 12 of them. Going to be 10. 12.50. And 10 and 12 of them. Bit of 10 and 12 of them. Going to be 10 and 12 of them here. Booker 110.22. 6 by 4. 6 by 4. Dollar 2.5. 2.5 here. 102.5. Bit of 2.5. Going to be 2.5. Bit of 2.5. Going to be 2.5. Going to be 2.5. Going to be 2.5. Did you do it? 102.5. 5. 105. Now 5. And 105 is 7.5. 7.5. 7.5. 7.5. Going to be 110. Going to be 110. Going to be 110. Going to be 110. Bit of a 10. Going to be 10. 10. And 10 a pound there. Going to be 10 here. S. 107.54X. Dollar 2.5. $8.2.5 here. Bit of 2.5. Bit of 2.5. Going to be 2.5. Bit of 2.5. Going to be 2.5. Bit of 2.5. Going to be 102.5. $8.2.5 here. 102.5. 5. 105. 7.5. 7.5. 7. 10. And 110. Bit of 10. Going to be 110. Going to be 110. Going to be 110. Bit of 10. Going to be 10. Going to be 10. Bit of 10. Going to be 10. Going to be 10. Chris 107.50. I have no idea. About 7. 13. $120. 122.5 and 22 and 25 here, 25, 25, 27 and 7 and 7 and 7 and 7 and 7 and going to be 27 and a half, 30 and 32 and a half, 5 and 35, 35, 35, 35, 35, 35, 35, 35, 35, 35 here, 35 here, 35 here. So 32 and a half, Booker 22. Thank you. 125, 125, and 30, and 25, 35, 35, 35, and 40, 40, then 40, 35, 40 here, 5, and 45, 50, 50, 50, 50, 145, 50, 50, there, going to be 45, 50, 50 here, S, 145, 21. Two-year-old, 120. 125, 25 here, 25 here, 25, 25, 25, 25, 25 here, going to be 125, 30, and 30, and 30, 30, 30 here, 5, to get 30 here, 25, to get 30, so 125, Chris, 7X. 75 and 75 here, 75, 75, 75, 75, group of 80 here, 75, 80 here, 75, group of 85, 85, 85, 85, 85, 85, and 90, and 90, group of 85, group of 95, and 95 T and dollar pound, group of $1, group of $1, group of $1, cabinets 95. $155, 55, and 55, and 55, 55, 55, 55, 55, 55 here, 55, 55, 55, 55, 57 and a half, 57, 57, 60, and now 60 there, 160, 160, 160, 160, 160 here, sold 157 and a half, hole 7. Eight-year-old, 5 months, $1.10. 110, yeah, 10, 12 of them, bit of a 10, 110, 110, 110, 110, bit of a 10, bit of a 10, 12 of them, bit of a 10, 12 of them, bit of a 10, 12, 50, and 10 and 12 of them, bit of a 10, 12 of 15, and 15, 17 and a half, 17 and a half, 20, 120, 120, and 20 bit 23, good bit 20 bit 23, good bit 20, sold 17 and a half, Booker 22.
Booker 22. Booker 22. Too much going on today.
75 and 75 and 75, 77 a pound, 80 cents a pound, 82 and a half, 85, now 90, 90, 95, and 95 $1 here, $1, $1, $1, 2 and a half, going to be 2 and a half, 5, and 4 and a 5, now 7 and a half, 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 going to be 7 and a half here, now 10, 110, and 10 about 10 there, you're going to be 110, bit of a 10, bit of a 10, bit of a 10, sold 107.50 CavX. $1.50. 152 and a half, 2 and a half here, 5, and 55 and a half, 55, 55, 55, 55, 55, 55, 52 and a half, 55 here, 55, and 55 here, 55, 55, 55, 55, 55, 55, sold, 152 and a half, hole 7. Hey, look at here. We found some that'll fit together. $1.50. They're all marks. They're all open. Thought that was you. They're all open, guys. $1.55 and 55 and 55 and 55, 55, 55, 60, 570, 580, 180, and 75, 80, and 75, going to be 180, 75, going to be 180, 75, 80, 75, going to be 180, and 75, 80 here, 75, going to be 80, going to be 80, 75, going to be 80 here, sold 175 for Ricardo. Four Morley's Cameron cows. 95, yeah, 95, here, 95, 95, 95, 95, 95, 95, 95, 97, 97, 97 $1, and 2 and a half, going to be 2 and a half, 5, and 105, 85, 85, 85, 85, 105, and 7 and a half, 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 going to be 7 and a half, going to be 7 and a half, going to be 750 here, sold 105, Chris. 4X. Thank you, Mark. $2 and a half, $2 and a half, here, bit of a 2 and a half, bit of 2 and a half, bit of 2 and a half, bit of 2 and a half, 95, and 95, 97, 97, 97 $1, and $1 here, going to be 2 and a half, bit of 2 and a half, going to be 105, bit of 5, bit of 5, bit of 5, bit of 5, 107 and a half, and 7 and a half here, going to be 7 and a half, going to be 750 here, sold 105, Cavanis. Dollar two and a half. $1 two and a half a dollar. Gonna be two and a half. 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 Gonna be $2.50 and two and a half a dollar. Gonna be two and a half. Gonna be two and a half. Gonna be 102 and a half. 102 and a half. Five and a half. Five and seven and a half. Seven and a half. Seven and a half. 10. Gonna be 110. 12 of the van. Gonna be 10. 12 of the van. Gonna be 10. 12 of the van. Gonna be 10. 12.50 and 10 and 12 of the van. Gonna be 10 and 12 of the van. Gonna be 10. 12 of the van. Gonna be 10. 12 of the van. 10. 12 of the van. Here's on 110. Booker 22. Bless you. Blow it out there.
Brown deal.
Bronby.
Brown deal.
75. Yeah, 75 here. 75, 75, 75, 75, 75, 75, 75. Now 75. It is 75 and 75. And 75 cents a pound. 77 and 80. And 2 and a half. Going to be 2 and a half. Going to be 2 and a half. 5. 87 and a half. 57 and a half. And 92 and a half. 92 and a half. 92.50. And 90. 2 and a half. Going to be 90. 2 and a half. Going to be 90. 2 and a half. Here, cabinets 90 on 11.
I don't know about me, but they got a big board.
75. Yeah, 75, 75 here, 75, 75, 75, 75, 75 here, 75 there, 75 is half, and 77.50. And now, Haiti, going to be 80, going to be 82 and a half, going to be 2 and a half, going to be 85, 85, 85, 87 and a half, 87 and a half, going to get 90, going to be 90, going to get 90, 2 and a half, 92 and a half, 5, and 97 and a half, 97.50, 97.50, and 90, going to get 7 and a half, going to be 90, going to get 7 and a half here, same way, 95, Cav 11.
Special horse sales too.
110 and 10. 10, 12 of the van, bit of a 10, 12 of the van, going to be 10, 12 of the van, going to be 10, 12 of the van, bit of a 10, 12 of the van, going to be 110. Bit of 12 of the van, going to be 10, 12 of the van, going to be down 10, 12.50. And 10 and 12 of the van, bit of a 10 and 12 of the van, going to be 10, 12 of the 15. And 15, 17 and a half, 17 and a half, 17 and a half, 17 and a half. Here, D. 115, 2. 115, D2.
On the cow, 4 months, friend.
Older mamas are 4 months bred. 95, 95, 95, 95, 95, 95, 97, 97, 102 and a half, 102 and a half, 105, 107 and a half, 7 and 10, and 10, bit of a 12 and a half, 15, and 15, 17 and a half, 17 and a half, 17, 50, 17 and a half, here, 17 and a half, here, you're going to be 17 and a half, here, you're going to be 17, bit of a half, here, so 115, Chris 15. Is the more pairs? Family time. Probably about like the rest of us, just ran out of grass. 6 and 7 years old. These don't bring blood around. 2000. All right there, 2,000 and 2,100. 21, hold your gate, right there, 21, now 2,200 and 21, 2, and 21, 2, 2,200 here, going to be 21, 2, 22, 2,200 and 2,200 here, 21, now 2, 2,200 and 25, going to be 200, going to be 22, going to be 22, going to be 2, going to be 25, going to be 2, 2,200 and 25, going to be 200, going to be 25, going to be 200, going to be 200, so 2,100. More. Put them on number 55X. You got plenty of feed? Two of them are bred back. Two of these cows are bred back. They are 4x2 and a 3x2. All right there, here, 2,500 and 25 and 25, 600 and 25, 6 and 25, 2,600, 6, 7 and 7, 7, hey, 28, 9, 9, and 3, 3, and 9, 3,000 and 25, 3, 1 and 30 here, 31, 31, 31, 35, 3,100 here, 3,100 and 3,100 here, 31, 31, 31, 31, 35, 35, 35, 35, 31, 2, 32, 32, 3 and 33, 3 and 4 and 34, 34, 33, 4 and 33, 34. What about half? 33 and a half, 33 going to be half here. So 3,300, Jason Pear. Yeah, at least he showed up. 3x4 on that good black cow, and that one's 5x4, 3-year-old, 5-year-old, or 4 months bred. 1,500, 15 and a half, 15 and a half, have it half here, going to be half $1, 15, 50, 16, 17, 18, 19, 19, 2,000, 2,100, and 22, 21, 2, and 2,200, 22, 22, 22, 22, 22, 2,200, and 2,200, so 2,100, more, 77. Four-year-old, here's a Borneman pair, 2,000. 2, 2,000, 2,000, and 2, and 2,000, 50 and a half, and 15 and a half, 16, 17, 1,700, and 17, 17 and a half, 17 and a half, 1750, and 17 and a half, 18, 1,800, and now half, 18 and a half, half here, 1,850, 18 and a half, 19, 19, 19, 19, 19 half, 19 and a half, 19 and a half, 19 and a half, so 1,900, Chandler. He left. Here's those John Leibel pairs. We had some last week I thought were pretty nice. Had all black calves too. All right, right there, here, 2,000 and 21 and 21 and 20 and 21, 21, 21, 21, 2,100 here, going to be 2,100 and 2,100 and 2,100 here, 21, 21, 21, now 2 and 22 and 2,200 here, 2,200 here, going to be 21, 2, 3 and 23, going to be 23, going to be 23, going to be 23, yeah, David, 22, 3, you on the line, 3, 4, 23, 24 and 23, 4 and 2,400 about there, 23, 24, 24, 24, 24, 24 and 24, half, 4, 2,400, David. Going to be 24 and a half, bit of half. Going to be 4. 2,400, David Rout. Now half. 24 and a half. 24.50. You 24 and a half here. Half and a half here. Bit about half here. Going to be 24. Going to be half. So 2,400. David Layer online. Yep. One cow's got a big foot. Both go. 75. 75, yeah, 75 here, 75, 75, 75, going to be 80 cents a pound, 85, 85, and 95, 95, 95, 95, 95 dollar here, going to be 2 and a half, going to be 2 and a half, 85, and 5 here, going to be 105, 85, and 5 here, going to be 107 and a half, 7 and a half, 7 and a half, 710, and 110, 12 and a half, going to be 10, 12 and a half, 15, and 15, 17 and a half, 17 and a half, going to be 17 and a half, and 17 and a half here, so 115, Cavex. $1.80. 160. 2 and a half. You 2 and a half here. 2 and a half. 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 5. And 7 and a half. 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 70. And now 70 there. You're going to be 70. 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 Sold 167.50. Hole 7. 130. 32 and a half, and 30, we get 2 and a half, gonna be 30, we get 2 and a half, gonna be 2 and a half, we get 2 and a half, gonna be 2 and a 5, and 35, 35, 35, 35, 35 here, 35, 35, 35, 35, and 35, we get 5, 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 we get 7 and a half, and 37 and a half, 37, 40, and the other 40 here, gonna be 40, we get 40, we get 40, we get 40, now 40 here, so 137, 50, hole 6. Dollar. $5. $5. We get 5. 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 105. 105. 105. 105. 105. And 105. 10. Going to be 110. Going to be 110. Going to be 110. Going to be 10. Going to be 10. Going to be 10. Going to be 10. 15. 115. 110. 15. 15. 20. 120. And 20 bid 20 there. Going to be 20 bid 20 there. Going to be 20 bid 20 there. Going to be 20 here. So 115. Hole 6.
So anything for over 62 and a half. Bull.
67 and a half.
Damn, I missed it.
Yeah, I don't know what you're doing.
See if you can get 62 and a half for him.
I won't. Maybe without the 1 in front of it. 110. 110, 110, and 110, 110, 75 cents a pound, 75, 80, and 75, going to be 85, 85, 85, and 90, 95, 95, going to be 105, 105, 19, going to be 110, 10, 15, 20, and 120, 125, 125, 125, get 25 here, 25, 25, 25, 25 here, going to be 125 here, so 120, Gibbon, Bolex.
It must be good.
Yeah. 50 cents a pound. 55, 55, 55, 55, 55, 55, 55, 60, 55, 70, 75, 80, 85, going to be 85, 90, 95, 95, 95, $1, $1 pound, going to be 105, going to be 110, going to be 110, going to be 105, going to be 110, and down 10, going to be 110, bit of 10, going to be 10, bit of 10, down 10, bit of 10, going to be 110, here's showtime, 105, bull. Pin them all together. Pin them all together. $1.50. $1.50, 60, 50, 60, 70, 170, 180, 190 pound, 2, going to be 210, going to be 210, going to be 210, 210, and 210 a pound, bit of a 210, going to be 210, going to be 210, going to be 2 and 10, Terry, $2, 6, nope, 11. Who? I think it's another deal. 135, and 35, 35, 35, 37, 35, 37, 37, 40, now 42 and a half, going to be 2 and a half, 42, 5, and 45, 45, 45, 45, 47 and a half, 47 and a half, 47, 50, and now 50 there, going to be 150, 50, 50, 50, 50, 50, 50, here, so 147, 50, hole 7. $35 and 35, 40 and 35, 49, 49, 49, 40, 35, 45, 45, 50, $1.50, 50, 50, 50, 50, 50, 7 and a half, 50, $1.50, going to be 2 and a half, going to be 2 and a half, 2 and a half, 5, and 55, 55, 55, 55, 55, 55, 55, 55, 55, 55, 55, sold 152 and a half, hole 7. Yep, 35, 40, and 35, 40, and 35, 40, and 40, 35, 40, 45, down 50, down 50, going to be 50, down 2 and a half, going to be 2 and a half, going to be 2 and a half, 55, and 55, 55, 55, 55, 7 and a half, 57 and a half, 57 and a half, 60, and now 60 there, 1, 2 and a half, and 2 and a half, going to be 2 and a half, 2 and a half, 5, and 65, and 65, sold, 162 and a half, give and boo.
You already done?
Oh, you dig.
Oh my god.
Do they have them all in the alley? I think so.
They're just pregging them.
But that was, should I think about that?
125, 125, 30, and 25, 30, half 35, and 30, 40, and half 40, and 45, 45, 45, 45, 45, jigga 5 here, 45 there, 45, 42 and a half, and 45, and 45, 45, 45 here, 45, 45, 45, 45, past 7 and a half, 47 and a half, now 50, 150, $1.50 there, going to be 150, 50, 50, 50 here, so 147 and a half, JR5. $55, 55, and 55, 55, 55, 55, 55, 57, 55, 57, 7, 7, 7, 7, 57, 50, 50, 57, going to be 50, 57 and a half, here's all 155, give and boo. $35, 40, and 35, and 35, and 35, 35, 35, 40, and 35, 45, 40, and 45, 45, 45, 45, 45, 50, and 55, and 55, now 55, 55, 55, 55, 55, 55, and 55 here, 55, sold, 150, JR5. $35, 40, and 35, and 35, 40, and 45, 45, 50, 50, 50, 50, 50, 50, 55, and 55, 60, $1.60 there, 160, sold 155, hole 7.
Back here balling so bad. Hello? Huh?
35, 40, and 35, 40, and 35, and 40, and 45, 45, 45, and 50, and 55, 55, 55, 60, and now 60 there, 1, 61, 61, 61, 61, 61, 7 and a half, 60, 160, 160, it's 60 there, 160, hole, 157 and a half, 7.
Is that your ringtone, John?
It's mine. Most of the nights I am. In the mornings I'm back to 5-5.
I can't either.
So do you have a sheep sale the weekend of the?
No, he's gonna have it. He's gonna have it the next weekend, Easter weekend.
125 and 25. Yeah, 25 and 25, 25, 25, 25, 5 here, 5 here, 125, 125, 30 and 30 and 35 and 35, 35, 35, 35, 40, 45 and 42 and a half, 2 and a half, 5, 45, 7 and a half, 47, 50 and now 52 and a half, 2 and a half, 2 and 5 and 55, 55, 55, 55, 55, 55, 55, 55 here, sold 152 and a half, hole 7. Nope, 6. If it stays hot and dry like it continues to be, we could have lots of cows the next 60 days. No. 55, 55, 55, 55, 55, 55, 7 and a half, 62 and a half, 2 and a half, 5, and 65, 65, 65, 65, 65, 65, 65, 7 and a half, 7 and a half, 7 and a half, 7 and a half, 70, and 70, and 70, 70, 70, you're going to be 70, you're going to get 70, you're going to be 70, you're going to get 70, sold 167, 50 given bull. No rain, Ricardo, no rain. Nope. 30 for 40, and 35, and 35, 40, and 49, 40, and 45, and 45, and 45, and 50, and 5, and 55, 55, 55, 55, 60, 165, and 65, and 65, 65, 65, 65, 65, 65, 65, 65, going to be 5 years old, 160, JR5.
$2027.
2027? About right.
That's not too bad. 3 years. Come on, Red.
Go on, Charlotte.
There you go.
I told it. You should go that way.
Charlie. Yep. 50. 55, 55, 55, 55, 55, 55, 60, 55, 70, 5, and 70, 80, 5, 85, 85, 85, 85, 85, 85, and 90, 90, 90, 85, and 100, 85, 95, now 95, 95, now $1, $1, 105, 10, 110, 15, sold 110, Chandler. 35, 40, and 35, 40, and 45, now 50, and now 52 and a half, good with 2 and a half, good with 2 and a half, we get 5, and 55, 55, 55, 55, 55, 55, 55, 55, and 5 here, 5, we get 5, we get 5, we get 5, and 5 here, so 52 and a half, hole 7. How many we got? How many cows will we sell today? 700? 7? 125, 30, and 25, and 25, we get 35, 35, 35, 35, and 40, we get 45, we get 45, we get 47 and a half, 47 and a half, 47 and a half, 50, and now 50 was here, 2 and a half, good with 2 and a half, and 25, and 55, 55, 55, 7 and a half, 57 and a half, 57 and a half, 57 and a half, 60, and now 2 and a half, bit of 2 and a half, good with 5, and 65, and 7 and a half, 7 and a half, 7 and a half, 7 and a half, 67, 50, and 67 and a half here, Gibbon Bull, 165. Yes, dear. $1.50. $1.55. And 55 and a half, 55, 55, 55, 55, 55, 55, 55, 55 here, 55, 55, 55, 55, 55, 55, 55, $1 pound. 110. 110. 110. Roy, what'd you bid? 110. 110. John, $1. 1X. Yes, 1X. 85, 85 out of 5 here, going to be 85, 85, 85, 85, 87, 85, 87, 85, 87, 85, 87, 85, 87, 85, very good 90, and 92 and a hand, 92 and a hand, 2 and a hand, 2 and a hand, 92.50, and 90, very good 2 and a hand, going to be 90, very good 2 and a half here, S, 90, 1X. $85, 85 out of 5 here, going to be 85, 87, going to be 87, going to be 87, very good 90, and 90, very good 2 and a hand, 95, 95, 7 and a hand, 97, 97 and a hand, 97 and a hand, $97, $1 pound, 2 and a half, 105 here, 105 here, 7 and a hand, 7 and a hand, 7 and a hand, 7 and a hand, 750, and 7 and a half here, going to be 7 and a half, going to be 7 and a half here, sold 105, S4X. 6-year-old, she's 5 runs, 110, 110, 10, 12 of them, 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 12 of them, 15, and 17 and a half, 17 and a half, 20, 22 and a half, 125, and 7 and a half, tag number 7 and a half, and 7, 7 and a half, 7 and a half, 7 and a half, 7 and a half, going to be 27.50, and 20, 7 and a half, going to be 20, 7 and a half, going to be 20, 7 and a half here.
1-3.
Sold 125, Booker 22. $110, 10, 12 of them, 10, 12 of them, going to be 10, and 12 of them, going to be 10, 12 of them, going to be 10, 12 of them, going to be 15, and 17 and a half, 17 and a half, 17.50, and 15, 17 and a half, going to be 17 and a half, there you're going to be 17.20, and hand 20, bit of a 20, hand 20, jiggy 22 and a half, 22 and a half, sold 120, Cavaness, 120. $2 and a half, $2 and a half here, $102 and a half, $2 and a half, going to be 2 and a half, 5, and 7 and a half, 7 and a half, 10, going to be 10, 12 and a half, 10, 12 and a half, 15, 17 and a half, 22 and a half, 22 and a half, 22 and a half, and 5, and 25, 25, 30, 30, 25 and 30, 25, going to be 30, 30, 30, going to be 30, 30, 30, going to be 30, 30 here in town, sold 125. Gray 10X. Wild Bill. 105, 105, and $5, 5, 7 and a half, 7 and a half, 7 and a half, 7 and a half, 7 and 10, going to be 110, going to be 110, going to be 110, bit of a 10, going to be 110, and 10, and 10, 12 of them, bit of a 10, 12 of them, 10, 12 of them, going to be 110, and 12 of them, bit of a 10, and 12 of them, 15, and 15, $17 and a half, 17, 20, and 121, 22 and a half, going to be 20, and the 2 and a half, going to be 20, going to get 2 and a half here, sold 120, Cavaness.
What?
110, 11, and 10, 11, 11, 11, 10, 11, 11, 11, 11, 11, 10, 11 here, going to be 10, 11 here, going to be 10, 11, 11, 11, 10, 11 here, going to be 110, $11 pound, 102, now 2, 4, 6, 8, 108, and now hey there, 10, and 110, bit of 10, going to be here, going to be 10, going to be here, going to be 10, going to be 10, so 108, S4X.
A lot of kids, little kid deals.
Yep. 110, 110, 110, 12 and a half, 110, 12 and a half, 10, 12.50, and 10 and 12 and a half, 15, and 15, 17 and a half, 20, there, going to be 120, going to get 2 and a half, 122 and a half, kind of your kind, Taylor, 22 and a half, sold 120, S5.
Okay.
Yeah. 110, 11, and 10, 11, 10, 11, 11, 11, 11, 10, 11 here, 11 here, going to be 110, 11 here, 110, 10, 10 here, 11, and 12, 11, 12, 13, 13, 13, 14, 15 here, going to be 115, and 50, 50, 15 here, 14, 15 here, book 114, 22. 85, 85, 90, 85 and 90, 85, 95, 95, 95, 95 dollar, and dollar paid 102 and a half, 105 here, 105, 7 and a half, 7 and a half, 7 and a half, 750. It's 7 and a half here, now 7 and a half, 10, good to be 110, bit of a 10, good to be 10, bit of a 10, good to be 10, 12 of them, bad 10, 12 of them, 15, and 7, 8 and a half, 7, 8 and a half, 17, 50, and 15, 7, 8 and a half, you're going to be 7, 8 and a half, 7, 8 and a half here, sold 115, Gibbon.
More what? Oh, yeah. Absolutely.
110, 110, 11, 10, 11, 11, 11, 11, 10, 11, 10, 11, 11, 11, 10, 11, 12, and 12, 14, 14, going to be 16, going to be 18, going to be 20, that's 2, and 22, 22, 22, 22, 22, 22, bit of a 2, going to be 2, going to be 2, going to be 2, that's 2, so 120, great, 10x.
Switch it out.
You'll be late tomorrow once you leave.
I don't think so. I shouldn't be.
I may have to leave early. Football game. 6:30, I think.
6-3. Yes, it is. Right there, going to be 10 by $3, 2.5, 2.5, and 2.5 here, 2.5, get 2.5, going to be 2.5, get 5, and 5 and 7.5, 7.5, 7 and 10, going to be 110, 12.5, 15, and 17 and 20, and 22.5, 122.5, bit of a half here, going to be 2.5 here, so 120, Cavaness. Just got to blow out, 30. 35, and 35, 35, 35, 35, 35, 35, 35, 35, 35, 35, 35, 20, 25, 25, 30, 5, 40, 5, 50, 5, 60, 5, 70, 5, 80, 5, 85, 80 bucks S, 1X. Seven years and 4 months. 85, 85, 85 and 90, 85, 90, 95, and 95, 95, 95, 95, 95, 95, 95, dollar, a dollar pound, going to be $1 there, going to be $1 pound, going to be $1, going to be $1 here, Cavitas, 95X. 95, 95 here, 95 here, 95, 95, 95, 95, 95 dollar pound, going to be 2.5, 5, and 4 and 7 and 7 and 10, going to be 110, 12 and 10, and 12 and 15, and 17 and 20 there, going to be 120, bit of a 20, going to be 20, going to get 22 and a half, and 22 and a half here, going to be 20, going to get 2 and a half, 1, 3, and 25, going to get 3, 5, and 10, 25, and 25 here, 23 and a half, 5 here, Cavis, 123. 2-year-old here, $1.25. 125, 30, and 25, 30, and 25, it get 30 here, 5, it get 30, could be 30, it get 30, 30, 30, 25, it get 35, 40, and 40, and 35, and 40, it get 40, it get 40, it get 45, 45, 45, you get 5 here, 50, 150, now 5, 60, 5, 165, 160, 70, 170, now 5, 80, 180, 180, sold 175, JR5. Here's a 5-year-old here, $100. 2.5, you get 2.5 here, 102 and a half, you get 2.5, going to be 2.5, 102 and a half, 5, and 1, 5, and 7, and 10, going to be 110, and 15, 20, and 125, and 25, and 25, 5, 25, 25, 30, you get 30, 35 here, 35, 35, 35, 35, 35, 35, sold, 130, Chris, 4X. $2.5, $2.5, $102.5, $2.5, going to be 2.5, 5, and 1, 5, 7, 7, 10, bit of a 10, 12, going to be 10, 12, $15, $17.5, 17.50, 17.5, going to be 17.5, going to be 17.5 here, going to be 17, bit of a half here, so 115 Gibbon. $110, 11, and 10, 11, 11, 11, 10, 11, 11, 12, and 14, 14, going to be 16, going to be 18, going to be 18, 20, and 122, 22, 23, 21, 2, 21, 2, 21, 2, 23, and 23, 23, 4, 23, 4, 5, and 25, 25, 24, 25 here, 25 here, Gibbon, 124 Gibbon. 21 daughter, and 21, and 21, 20, 21 here for the 3, and 21, 23, 33, 5 here, 25, 7, 27, and 7, 7, 25, group 7, 5, group 7, and 9, 130, and 31, and 30, 31 here, 31, 31, 31, 31, 31, 31, 2, 31, 2, and 31 here, 2, there, here, 2, 31, 2, so 131, cabinets 3. 85, 85, 5 here, 85, 93, 85, 90, 85, 90, 85, 90, 95, and $95, and $100, 2 and a half, 2 and a half, 105, 85, 7 and a half, 7 and a half, 7 and 10, and 110, 110, 110, 10, 12 and a half, 10, 12 and a half, now 15, and 15, 50, 17 and a half, 17 and a half, 17, 50, 17 and a half, here, 17 and a half here, cabinets, 115, straight, cabinet. X. 85, 90, 85 and 90 there, 85 and 90 there, group 85, 90, group 85, 90 there, group 85, 95, and 95 here, 95 here, 95 here, 95. Chris, $90, 13. See you, Bill. $1.50. $55, 55, 55, 55, 55, 55, 55, 60, 5, 70, 5, 175, 75, 75, 75, and 75 here, 75 there, 75 here, 75 here, 75 here, sold 170, Jason 11. Six-year-old cat, 120, 121, and 21, 3, and 25, 3, 25, 3, 5 here, 25, 27, 27, 25, going to be 7, and 25, going to be 27, going to be 25, going to be 27, gray, 125, 10X. 125. 125, 30, and 39, 39, 39, 39, 30, 25, going to be 30, we get 35, going to be 35, we get 40, we get 45, and 50, and 50, 55, now 55, 55, 60, 160, 105, and 65, here's the 70, going to be 170, going to be 75, and 75, 80, going to be 180, going to be 180, 75, 80, 75, going to be 80 here, so 175,
5 by 6.
and tone. 5 years and 6 months, guys. $101, 102 and a half, 2 and a half here, 102 and a half, going to be 2 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 and a half, going to be 255 and 105, going to be 7 and a half, 7 and a half, 7 and a half, 7 and a half, yes, 7 and a half here, half a 10, going to be 110, going to be 115, 20, 120, 125, 130, 125, 30, sold 125, Dylan. Daughter, 2 and a half, 2 and a half here, not 2 and a half, we get 2 and a half, we get 2 and a half, we get 5 and a 5, 7 and a half, 7 and a half, 7 and a 10, going to be 110, not 12 and a half, and 15, and 15, 17 and a half, 17 and a half, going to be 122 and a half, 22 and a half, 5, and 27 and a half, 7 and a half, 7 and a half, 7 and a half, going to be 27.50, and 20, we get 7 and a half, going to be 20, we get 7 and a half here, so 125, Gibbon. $10, 10, 12 of 10, 12 of 10, 12 of 10, 12 of 15, 17 and a half, 17 and a half, going to be 122 and a half here, 25 here, 25, 7 and a half, 30, and 32 and a half, 32 and a half, 32.50, and 30, we get 2 and a half, going to be 30, we get 2 and a half, going to be 30, we get 2 and a half here, sold 130, Cavanis. 120. 125, 25, 25, 5 here, 125, 25, 25, 25, 25, 25 here, going to be 125, 25, 5 here, 30, we get 30, 25, we get 30, 25, we get 30, 25, going to be 30, we get 30, so 125, JR5, JR5.
8-year-old, 3 months bred.
8 years and 3 months. 95, 95 here, 95, 95, 95, 95, 95, 95, 95, 95, 7 and a half dollar, 2 and a half, 105, and 7 and a half, 7 and a half, 7 and 10, going to be 110, 12 of the van, going to be 10, 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 12, 50, and 10 and 12 of the van, going to be 10 and 12 of the van, 15, and 17 and a half, 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 17, going to be half here, cabinets, 115, nothing. 85, 85 dollar 5 here, going to be 85, 85, 85, 85 and 90, 85 and 90 there, 85, 85, 90, 85, going to be 90, 90, 90, S, 85, 1X. $122 and a half. 20, to get 2 and a half. Group 20, to get 2 and a half. Group 20, to get 2 and a half. 122 and a half. 22 and a half. And 25. And 27 and a half. 7 and a half. 7 and a half. 7 and a half. 7 and 30, to get 30. Group 32 and a half. 32 and a half. 35. And 35, 35, 35, 35, 35, 35, 35. So 32 and a half. S21. $25. 25, 25 here, 30, and 35, to get 40, now 5, going to be 50, to get 55, 55, 55, 60, now 5, and to get a 70, to get 75, 75, 75, 80, going to be 80, going to be 80, 75, going to be 80 here, 75, going to be 80 here, S, 75, 1X.
Can I sell a cow in under 10 seconds?
55, and 55, and 55, and 55, 55, 55, 55, 55, 55, 55, 55, 55, 55, 35, 40, and 35, 45, and 50, to get 55, and 55, 55, 60, now 5, 65, 65, 65, 70, to get 75, 75, 75, 80, and now 80, 75, going to be 80, 75, going to be 80, 75, going to be 80 here, D, 75, 2. 3 years old. She's 3 months. Who gave $800? 850, 850, 850, 50 and a half here. 900, 900, 10, 100, go to 10 and a half. 11, 11 and a half, 11, 50, now 12, and 1200 and a half, 12 of the hand, 12 of the hand, 12 of the hand, 1250, and 12 of the hand, 12 of the hand, and 12 of the hand, 12 of the hand, going to be 1300 and a half, 13, 1400, and 14, 14, 14, 14, 14, 14, 14, 1400 there, JR, 1350 on 5. 131, 131, and 31, 30, 31, 30, 31, 31, 31, 2, and 2, 3, 33, 34, 35, 36, 35, 600, and 35, going to be 6 here, going to be 35, going to be 6, D, 135, 2. $85 5 here, going to be 85, 85, 85, 85, 85, 85, 87, going to be 87, going to get 90, going to get 2 and a half, 5, and 95, 95, 95, 7 and a half, 97 dollar, and dollar going to be $1, going to be $1, 2 and a half, going to be 2 and a half, going to get 5, and 105, going to get 5, 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 sold 102 and a half. Chris, 4X. $110, and 10, 12 of them, 15, and 17 and a half, going to be 122 and a half here, 25 there, 7 and a half, 7 and a half, 7 and a half, 39, 39, 32 and a half, and 32.50, and 30, going to be 2 and a half, going to be 2 and a half, going to be 30, and 2 and a half, going to be 30, going to get 2 and a half, going to be 30, yeah, 32 and a half, 31, 3, 33, 31, 33, cabinets, 131. 85, 85, 85, and 90 here, 85, 90, 95, 95 here, $9, and dollar be 2 and a half, going to be 2 and a half, going to get 2 and a half, going to be 102 and a half, going to be 102 and a half, going to be 102 and a half, Chris, $1. 14.
How many we got left? 50?
25 and 25, 30 and 25, we get 30, 25, going to be 30, 10, 35 here, 35 and 40, we get 45, we get 45, we get 50, we get 50 and 50 and 45, 50 and 45 and 50, we get 50. Yeah, did you get 50? 50. Chris, 45 on 12.
45. 45.
Way the big girl.
Dollar. $5. Here, $5. Here, good to be 105. Good to get 5. Good to get 5. Good to get 5. Good to get 5 and 10. Good to be 110. Good to be 10 and 15. Bit of a 10 and 15. Bit of a 10 and 50, 20. And 121, 21, 21, 21, 21, 20. Here, 20, now 2.5. 122 and a half. 122, 50. And 20. Bit to get 2.5. Good to be 20. Bit to get 2.5. Here, sold. 120. S5.
How many things? 5 singles and 1 Oh, that's it. Sweet. We're getting rhythm. We can sell some cows. Crack them gates, I can sell them.
Hey.
121 and 21, 20, 21 here, 3 and 25, 27, 7, 9, 31, we get 31, 33, 35, 35, 35, and 3, we get 5, go to 3, we get 5, go to 3, we get 5, go to 33, we get 5 here, Booker, 133, 22. Six years old, she's 7 months, 800. 800, 900, 8 and 9, 900 and 900. Here, 1,000. We get 1,000, 1,100, 12, 1,300, 13 now half, 1,400 and a half, 1,500, 1,500 and 1,500. Here, have a half here. Going to be 15. Going to be 100. Sold 14 and a half. Hike.
HAJEK.
Cow's got a little cut down there on the left leg, down low. 10 by 6. $1. $2.50. You 2.5 here. Have and a half here. Going to be 2.5. Going to get 2.5. Going to be 2.5. Going to be 2.5. Going to get 2.5. Going to be 250. And 2.5 here. 5 and 1 5 7 7 10. Going to be 110. Going to be 110. Going to be 110. Going to be 110. 110 and 10 about 10 there. Going to be 110. Bit of a 10. Ricardo 107.50. 110. 110. 15. 120. 115, 120, 5, 122 and a half, 125, 125. Sold 122 and a half, S5. She's real. 130. 131 and 31, 30, 31 here, 30, 31, 31, 31, 31, 31, 31 here, going to be 131, 131, 120, 122 and a half, 122 and a half, 5, 7 and a half, now 30, and 38, 9, 125, we get 30, 1, 2, 3, 4, sold, 133, Gibbon. What you've been waiting for all day. 60 cents a pound. 65. And has it get 70? It get 75 here, 75, 80, going to be 85, 85, 85, and 90, get 95, and 95 $1 going to be $1, 2 and a half, going to be 105, and 105 and 5 here, going to be 105, it get 5, going to be 110, 110, 15, 20, 120, 15, 120, now 5, 125, 130, now 5, $1.35. 135 and 30 now 5 here 5 to get 5 to get 5 sold 130 Dylan 130 Dylan. They're all bred, huh? 3 to 5 months. $1.
8, 9 years old.
$10. $10.
Well, you should have started with me.
Well, I guess so. So I'm a buck. 55. I don't know. 50 cents a pound.
Yes.
60,
Yes.
70,
Yes.
80, 90,
Got Martin. Yes.
$1, $1,
Yes.
$5, 105, $1. Who'd I have? Hike?
Yeah.
Well, we're going to keep them around another year or two, ain't we? These farmers buying them. Here's the open ones. 60 cents a pound. 65. 65, 65, 75, and 75, 80, 5, 90, 95, and 95 here, 95, 95 here, 95 here, 95, and 95 here, 95, 5 here, that's 90, 9. Two little calves. Here's two little calves. So much times two. 300 apiece. 350 and 350 and a half, 4 and 400 and a half, 4 and a half, 500 and a half, 5 and a half, 5 and a half, going to be 600 and 5 and a half, going to be 600 and 5 and a half, going to be 600 here, 5 and a half, going to be 600 and 5 and a half, going to be 600 here, 5 and a half, going to be 6 more, 550 straight. Is that all the cows? Yeah, that's about it. Cow buyers, thank y'all very much. Y'all have a good week. Get ready for another 1,000 cows next week. Got a few calves to sell. It happens. $200, $250, $300, 3.5, 4, half, 4.5, $450. Sold 400 more. $300, $350, $400, 4.5, $500, $500. Sold 4.5 more. That looks like a diamond L. Buyer and lover, $100 by the head. 100, 110, 30, 150, 170, 190, 200, 210, 210, 210, 220, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 280, 290, 300, 310. Did y'all see her? 320. 320. 320. Sold 310. Ricardo.
This one, cow died yesterday. He's had colostrum been on a bottle.
Cow died yesterday. He has had colostrum. He's already broke to the bottle. Chris, you got any interest in a baby calf? You forgot your trailer?
How much you want to give? 100? Got 100? 50? Look at him go, Johnny.
175. 200. 2.25.
Yes.
2.5. 75. 275. I got the overalls in at 250. Going to be 75. 275. 300. 300. 3.25. 325. Braden, you're out. 325. So 300 overall man. Put them on more. Moss. Felt like I was at an old farm sale back in the day. Which one overall? That's it. All right. Well, thank you guys. Y'all have a good week. See you back here. Some of y'all back here tomorrow, 9 o'clock in the a.m. Have a good day.